and sing, and singing is very healing.
Other baby classes are great to meet mums, but it doesn't have the same sort of calming influence.
The study in the British Journal of Psychiatry found mothers with postpartum depression were still reporting improved symptoms 6 months after completing the singing course, making it far more effective than other forms of community support. Vicky Barker, CBS News, London.
A new poll finds more U.S. Jews are shielding their identity in public because of fears of anti-Semitism. The Washington Post survey also found large majorities distrust the administration's efforts to fight anti-Jewish bias. I'm Cammie McCormick, CBS News.
The award-winning local, district, and statewide news is brought to you by Clayton Homes of Bell Vernon. Is it time to find a home that fits your lifestyle? Visit Clayton Homes of Bell Vernon. You'll find special savings along with beautiful, energy-efficient homes packed with features you've been dreaming about at Clayton Homes of Bell Vernon, 4500 PA 51. And now the news.
And good afternoon. 64 degrees at 5:05 on this Wednesday. I'm Nick Barczyk from the Davis & Davis Studios. Davis & Davis Attorneys at Law, voted Fayette County's best law firm 2024. Your local station, WMBS. Doug's taking picture of Tupperware. It's a fun day in the studio, even though we're sad. We'll talk about it on the show. More on the way next. But now the news. State Representative Charity Grim-Krupa from Fayette County announced the Pennsylvania Infrastructure Investment Authority awarded nearly $10 million in grants and low-interest loans for 2 projects in Fayette County. The first is for Pennsylvania American Water Company's replacement of around 390 lead service lines at locations approved.
WMBS, Uniontown.
DEP, Department of Environmental Protection, in the city of Uniontown, North Union, and South Union Township. Penvest approved a grant of nearly $3 million and a low-interest loan of over $2 million. The second is for the borough of Masontown's work to install exterior meter pits and replace over 1,200 water meters at all service connections. This will reduce water loss within the borough from the service connection to the customer water meters, which are right now in the homes. Penvest approved a grant of $975,000 and a low-interest loan of $3.5 million. More than 250 people are getting ready for the loss of their jobs with the coming closure of a manufacturing plant in Washington County. 4th Street Barbecue in Charleroi says they will close by the end of this month. The company has reportedly defaulted on more than $80 million in loans and is being sued by Huntington National Bank. West Virginia University has issued a campus warning in the city of Morgantown after multiple burglaries were reported over the weekend. University police said that people who live along North High Street and Belmar Avenue near the campus reported items being stolen from rooms in the early morning hours of this past Saturday the 11th and Sunday the 12th. Authorities said the reports were filed hours after the alleged burglaries, and it appears the homes were gotten into through unlocked doors and windows. 3 suspects have been identified by police in connection with the burglaries, but no descriptions were given. Anyone with information is asked to call 304-293-3136, submit a tip online, or visit the police force on Chestnut Ridge Road. Lawmakers are warning that an extended government shutdown could affect negatively the Thanksgiving travel season next month.
Airports will be flooded with flight cancellations and delays, warns Republican House Majority Whip Tom Emmer. That is if the shutdown drags on. Little progress has been made to break the impasse that's kept the government shut down since October 1st. House Republicans say they passed a temporary spending bill, but Democrats in the Senate are blocking the measure in a fight to extend subsidies for Affordable Care Act healthcare plans. I'm Rory O'Neill.
More next on WMBS.
Is it time for your first home? Or time to trade up to a home that fits your lifestyle? It's time to visit Clayton Homes of Bell Vernon. You'll find special savings along with trade-in and trade-up deals. Imagine beautiful, new, energy-efficient homes packed with the features you've been dreaming about. Trade in and trade up at Clayton Homes of Bell Vernon, 4500 PA 51. Trade-in value toward purchase of a new home determined by resale value and evaluation by home center manager. Additional deposit may be required.
The Pittsburgh International Airport is not airing a government shutdown video featuring the Homeland Security Secretary Kristi Noem. In the message, Noem blames Democrats in Congress for the government shutdown that has TSA screeners working without paychecks. Officials at many airports around the country have said they will not show the video at all, citing that the political video goes against their policies and regulations. Officials with Pittsburgh International say they will not air the video as the airport is not equipped with the proper technology needed to play the video, and it goes against their morals and ethics. And in sports, it will be the Steelers in Cincinnati tomorrow taking on the Bengals in their division. The game at 6:15 and the pregame at 6:15, game at 8:15 on WMBS. Steelers going to be without special teams captain Miles Killebrew, and Calvin Austin looks like he'll try to give it a go. The Steelers wide receiver who's been banged up the last few weeks. Steelers favored in the game against the Bengals Thursday at 8:15 on WMBS. Last night, Penguins lose to the Ducks out in California 4-3. They take on the Kings in Los Angeles on Thursday. We'll join that game at 11 after the Steelers. Penguins looking to snap a 2-game losing streak. Now the weather watch for all of southwest Pennsylvania. Right now we're looking at cloudy skies and 64 degrees. Frost advisory from at 12 a.m. through 9 a.m. Thursday. And the overnight low tonight down to 38, 62 Thursday, 63 Friday. Saturday, summer like 78 with sun, but rain likely Sunday at 68. When it rains all day Sunday, don't feel guilty about staying in and watching football. 59 on Monday, only at 59 Monday, and rain again Tuesday at 63, but again, looks like a lot of rain on Sunday, but nice and warm on Saturday, looking ahead to your weekend. Right now at 5:10, some clouds and 63 degrees on this Wednesday. Good afternoon.
590 AM, 101.1 F.
Stock report on the way next, and then we'll bring you the afternoon drive show with Doug Saltzman on WMBS.
The local, district, and statewide news was brought to you by Clayton Homes of Bell Vernon. Is it time to find a home that fits your lifestyle? Visit Clayton Homes of Bell Vernon. You'll find special savings along with beautiful, energy-efficient homes packed with features you've been dreaming about at Clayton Homes of Bell Vernon, 4500 PA 51.
This stock report is brought to you by Jason Scott, South Union Township Supervisor. Jason is a local business leader and is also a friend, committed to serving South Union Township and beyond with community-minded work, projects, and programs.
Good evening. This is Tim Brown of Janney Montgomery Scott here in Uniontown, bringing you today's closing stock market report. The Dow Jones Industrial Average was down 17.2 points, closing at 46,253. The Nasdaq Composite was up 148.4 points, closing at 22,670, and the S&P 500 index was up 26.8 points, closing at 6,671. Among companies of local interest, Apple closed at $249.34, up $1.57. Amazon, $215.57, down 82 cents. Cisco, $69.52, up 86 cents. Boeing, $214, down 30 cents. Caterpillar, $534.05, up $6.58. Disney, $111.71, up 54 cents. ExxonMobil, $111.61, down 68 cents. First Energy, $47.69, up 16 cents. Johnson & Johnson, $191.17, up 32 cents. Home Depot, $388.30, up 58 cents. Intel, $37.15, up $1.52. McDonald's, $305.25, up 69 cents. Meta Platforms, $717.55, up $8.90. PNC, $182.34, down $7.39. Raytheon Technologies, $157, down $2.40. Rockwell Automation, $352.09, up $8.08. Tesla, $435.15, up $5.91. Verizon, $40.38, down 17 cents. And Walmart closed at $109.03, up $1.82. Recapping, the Dow Jones Industrial Average was down 17.2 points, closing at 46,253. The Nasdaq Composite was up 148.4 points, closing at 22,670. And the S&P 500 index was up 26.8 points, closing at 6,671. From the Uniontown office of Janney Montgomery Scott, member FINRA, NYSE, SIPC, where we serve all of your investment needs. This is Tim Brown.
You don't fix what's not broken. That's true. You don't replace what is working well. Jason Scott is doing a good job working as South Union Township Supervisor. Jason Scott utilizes his skills on a daily basis in the township office. Whether repairing storm drains, operating a plow truck, or working with his fellow supervisors on economic growth, Jason Scott is out there working for you all day, every day. Let's keep experience and integrity in the township. Keep Jason Scott, full-time South Union Township Supervisor.
Paid for by the candidate.
This stock report was brought to you by South Union Township Supervisor Jason Scott. A proven leader and a trusted neighbor and friend, Jason is busy making sure the needs of South Union Township residents are addressed and is committed to serving you.
Concerned about your heart health? At WVU Medicine, we believe your heart deserves world-class care, close to home and always within reach. Our non-invasive cardiology team uses advanced tests like stress tests and cardiac MRI to diagnose and monitor heart conditions without surgery. Call 877-WVU, the number 4HRT, or visit wvumedicine.org/heart.
Zen's Antiques and Home Decor, a part of the Cinder Shack family of vendors where you can find both antique and new furniture, collectibles, housewares, gift items, including jewelry and candles, and so much more. Follow Zen's Antiques and Home Decor on Facebook for new items and information on upcoming events. Zen's Antiques and Home Decor in Building 2 at 3391 National Pike in Farmington. Zen's Antiques and Home Decor.
Chris Parker Jr., October is the month for tricks or treats.
No tricks here at Autoland Hyundai. It's all treats. Everyone who purchases a new Hyundai is treated to America's best warranty. Plus, sweet deals on our selection of remaining new 25, all with amazing incentives. Plus, 0% financing is back.
I'm listening.
The deals are sweet with 0% financing for 60 months on new 2025 Tucson all-wheel drive. And there's the 25 Santa Fe third-row SUV with 1.99% financing for 60 months or up to $4,500 bonus cash.
Payments are always important. How about a lease?
For economy and fuel efficiency, lease a remaining 2025 Hyundai Elantra SE for only $199 per month. Just see us for details.
And every new Hyundai purchase includes Hyundai Assurance, America's best warranty, 10-year, 100,000-mile limited powertrain protection, and 3-year free complimentary maintenance. Autoland Hyundai, downtown Uniontown, or online at AutolandHyundai.com.
And remember, you always pay less to drive the best at Autoland Hyundai.
This November 4th, Betsy Dennis King humbly asks for your vote for Wharton Township Tax Collector. Cross-filed on both the Republican and Democratic tickets, and with 19 years of experience working closely with her mother, tax collector Tina Nicholson, Betsy has learned the ins and outs of tax collecting and brings honesty and efficiency to tax collecting. Blending her formal education, practical experience, and her lifelong connection to the responsibilities of the office, Betsy Dennis King hopes you will cast your vote for her this November 4th.
Paid for by the candidate. The football season has begun, and the best way to watch your favorite team is relaxing on a reclining sofa, reclining love seat, reclining sectional, or rocker recliner from Chesler's Fine Furniture. Chesler's has teamed up with Lazy Boy to bring you the most comfortable seating for your home. When you decide to take a break, you deserve a dreamy spot that's both roomy enough for the perfect position and super cozy for a quality snooze. Lazy Boy's Morrison Group just fits the bill. Select from blue or brown in stock for immediate delivery. Reclining sofas are sale priced at $12.99. If a reclining sectional is on your want list, Chesler's has a brown sectional with 2 recliners for $32.99. If a rocker recliner is on your list, the Morrison is available in a variety of colors for $5.99. So, breathe some excitement back into your family room and watch the game on a reclining sofa from Lazy Boy. Credit terms and delivery are available. Chesler's Fine Furniture, Route 51 in Uniontown.
It's the Afternoon Drive Show on your local station, WMBS Uniontown. I'm Doug Saltzman. That is Nick Barczyk. Nick and I were just talking off air. We should record these off-air things.
My name is Patrick Mahoney, and I'm running for...
I just heard Patrick Mahoney.
Yeah, we're having some computer issues, Doug. If you may have noticed, again, full transparency on this show and this station, certainly this show. Something happened with automation. That's why liners were playing during the news, and now the XT Halt isn't working. So while you do your show, I'm going to fix the computer.
What
back
the
to
XT
you,
Halt
Doug.
means, it's supposed to halt things so they don't air twice. That was Patrick Mahomes, I heard.
That was Pat Mahomes, the Chiefs quarterback.
He plays for the Chiefs.
Yeah.
We should have left him on. I'd be happy to interview him.
Oh, he had a great game Sunday.
So
I bet on the Chiefs a lot. Hey, Pat's won me a lot of money. Not nearly as much as he makes, but
and legally, right? You weren't dealing with your
sports
bookie.
gambling's legal now,
right?
Doug.
Well, I didn't know
Have
if
you watched the news in the last 10 years.
I didn't know if you were dealing with your bookie or not.
No, it's online.
Yeah, I've dedicated my show over the years to various people, and it's usually it's always been someone who passed away. But today we'll dedicate it to my brother and sister-in-law on their 20th anniversary. Very happy for Dave and Jan. Although it's a little odd. My brother, my brother's here in southwestern PA, lives in Jefferson Hills, and his wife is in Florida visiting their newborn grandchild, Charlie. So I guess tonight I'm supposed to take my brother out for a romantic dinner. I don't quite know how I'm going to do that with my brother. I don't even know what I'll wear. Anybody recognize this? That is from an old Flintstones thing. My brother sent that to his bride. So one of those odder things we'll start off the show with. So Dave and Jan, happy 20th anniversary.
20 to life. No, I kid. That's wonderful.
How about that?
20 years.
Hard to believe it's been that long, frankly.
It's flown by.
And it took about 15 years, but I finally got over the fact that his son was his best man in this wedding and not me.
Oh, that's tough.
Boy, it burned me up, let me tell you. Of course, it saved me a lot of money. If you're a best man, you got to buy a more expensive gift.
I mean, yeah. I've never had the honor.
And after their wedding, it was at my dad's church, Bethlehem Lutheran Church, in the city of Pittsburgh, and then there was a small reception at Janice's sister's home, which is big enough to hold a reception.
That's your brother saying thanks for the shout out.
It was out in Fox Chapel, and then my then wife Jill and my mom and dad came to Uniontown after that.
Really?
We went to the State Theater.
Oh.
And saw Bob Newhart.
Oh, that's a great night of clean stand-up. Bob Newhart. Did he do the bus driver joke?
Oh, yeah.
Of course.
And it does the telephone, his classic telephone stuff.
No, you didn't take Mom and Dad to see Carlin, did you, George Carlin?
No, I would have been out of the will for that one. It would have shortened both their lives.
That would have been too much for Mom, certainly. Maybe even Dad.
Even Dad, yeah.
Even Dad.
So,
wow.
So we went to see, he did a great job, too. There was a nice opening band. And then Bob Newhart.
Oh, wonderful. And you have the tickets, don't you? You have the stubs?
Of course I do.
Oh, God.
I have cigar boxes at home full of ticket stubs. Although not as many as I used to because you don't get tickets anymore.
That's true, but I just love that somewhere in your apartment or house you have a 20-year-old Bob Newhart ticket stub because you're going to need that one day.
Yeah, my kids are going to say, when they're cleaning out my house after I'm gone.
Who's Bob Newhart?
Yeah, what am I going to do with this stuff?
Why does Dad have a ticket stub from 2005?
Well, I've got 4 cigar boxes in there that were special because those are the cigars I gave out when my 4 daughters were born.
Aw.
One of which I gave to President George W. Bush.
That's right. You mentioned that. That's wonderful. You had a cigar with George W.
2 days after my daughter was born, my wife was still in the hospital. I was really edgy about, he's coming into town. I work for Spectre. It was a joint event. And I said, do you mind? She said, no, I don't mind. I'm sick of you sitting here in the hospital room looking at me.
Oh, you got to go meet George. Was he president at the time?
He was president at the time. I handed him a cigar. He wrote a great note that said, welcome to this world, Julia. It was our third daughter, Julia. Loved George Bush. So
and he wrote some state secrets on the back. Yeah.
I don't think he did.
No, he didn't. If he had a sense of humor, no, he's a funny guy.
And I said, oh, that's very nice to write that note. Could I ask you, I have 2 other daughters. Could you write notes for them? And he did.
Wow. Then he brought Dick Cheney in and he signed it.
No, no Dick wasn't there.
No.
But this was...
that's right. They don't travel together.
I was very pleased. There was an accident on the Parkway that day, Parkway West. And we were in the back hallways of the Hilton Hotel, then the Hilton Hotel in downtown Pittsburgh. And we were unable to leave right away in the motorcade because they had to wait for that traffic jam to clear so the motorcade could go to the airport. So the best thing ever happened was the fact that so here we are in this back hallway with steam pipes and other utilities. Yeah, the presidents never go in and out the front door of any place. They go in a back door. President Bush or President Reagan once said he wouldn't think he was at the right place if he didn't smell garbage when he went in, because he usually went into the service entrance, and they might try to spruce it up, but it's hard to get rid of odor. But he used to joke about that. You never went in the main entrance of any hotel. Coming up here in a moment, we're going to check in with Linda Kenyon. The latest strike against an alleged Venezuelan drug cartel boat in the Caribbean. or the Gulf of Mexico, whatever they're calling it these days. And joining us right now on the WVU Medicine Uniontown Hospital Talk Line, CBS News correspondent and anchor Linda Kenyon. Linda, thank you very much for joining us today. Wanted to talk to you about the latest strike against an alleged Venezuelan drug cartel boat. I assume this is in the Caribbean, or is it in the Gulf of whatever we're calling it these days, Mexico, America, whatever it might be. Where did these strikes take place?
It's in the Caribbean. The president says that they are international waters, and this is the fifth deadly strike in the Caribbean. The Trump administration says that drug traffickers are unlawful combatants who have to be met with military force. So that military force so far in this latest strike has killed 6 people. I believe the total of all of the strikes so far has killed 27. The president says that they are drug runners, and there has been some question about that. The president, by the way, just spoke about that moments ago in the Oval Office, about how, in fact, they can say with such assertions that these were drug-running boats, and the president says that there's fentanyl dust all over the debris once it's blown up. The question that came up was, that's after the fact. How do you know ahead of the time? And he said, that he confirmed he's authorized the CIA into Venezuela, and they've been conducting operations.
Has there been any blowback from the Venezuelan government on these strikes?
Absolutely. The Nicolas Maduro has mobilized his local militia, some unorganized military forces, etc., and saying that they're going to be doing military exercises and that they are going to fight back.
Yeah. What the CIA obviously is gathering this intelligence, according to President Trump. Is there any indication how long this is going to continue, and it would affect alleged drug runners from other countries? Has the administration said anything about that?
Well, the president says that this is a deterrent that other countries should take notice. That the United States is not going to stand for drugs coming into the country that are killing millions of Americans. And that along those lines has instructed a military buildup in the region that is really quite substantial. 10,000 U.S. troops are there right now. Most of them are based in Puerto Rico, but there's also some on amphibious assault ships. The Navy has 8 surface warships and a submarine in the Caribbean. And the big question that is coming up is this just an attempt to overthrow the government of Nicolas Maduro? When asked, again, just moments ago in the Oval Office, if the president had been given authorization, had given the authorization to the CIA, to oust Nicolas Maduro, to take him out, so to speak. Those were the words used. He said, well, that's a ridiculous question. But then he said, actually, it's not a ridiculous question, but it would be ridiculous for me to answer it.
Yeah, I did hear that, and I just heard part of that report, which I didn't fully understand what he meant by that. Well, I was going to ask your interpretation. That wouldn't be appropriate. You're a reporter. So, yeah, I didn't quite know how to take that. But obviously, I don't think this is something that the administration plans to end anytime soon. He's not given a deadline as to how far these will go, correct?
Correct. And he says the reason that he's been authorizing this military action so far in the Caribbean is twofold. Number one, he said, because Venezuela has been dumping, as he puts it, the worst, that they've emptied their prisons and mental institutions, he says, and sent them across America's porous borders, which he has now shut down. And number two is drugs. And when it comes to drugs, we're seeing the military response to that.
Yeah. The numbers, as you mentioned, obviously are going to continue to grow should these attacks on these drug cartels continue. And I guess the vice president has gone as far as to say he doesn't give a bleep whether they're illegal or not. I'm guessing that was an off-the-cuff comment, not in prepared remarks. Has there been any stepping back from those comments by the vice president? Are you aware?
No, the president and the vice president do have a tendency sometimes to go off script. The president more so, I would say, than the vice president. But no, there has not been any walking back of that, at least not very publicly, although, if pressed further, I suspect that there might be at some point. But for now, we have become accustomed to the president and of course, at times, the vice president going, if you will, off script.
And that's for sure. And last question for Linda Kenyon here on the Afternoon Drive Show on this effort by the administration. Has there been any indication, I guess, one way or the other, about their requirement to let Congress know that they are doing these steps?
Yeah, there's a lot of consternation among members of the House and Senate Intelligence Committees, the House and Senate counterparts on armed services, about how much they have been brought into the loop or not brought into the loop on this. You have to have a certain degree of security clearance in order to get this kind of information, and those are the folks who would have it, certainly in the intelligence committees. So there has been some discussion, some complaints from those folks saying that they have not been given the information that they are seeking, certainly not in its entirety. But again, the president has justified his actions. He sent a memo to Congress, and he said, and I'm going to give you a quote here from the memo, he says that the administration determined that the United States is in a non-international armed conflict with these designated terrorist organizations, and that Trump directed the Pentagon to, quote, conduct operations against them pursuant to the law of armed conflict.
Gotcha. Reporting for CBS on this topic, of course, CBS correspondent and anchor Linda Kenyon. Linda, thank you very much for your report. We appreciate you joining us today.
Absolutely. Have a good one.
Thank you. Linda Kenyon knows her stuff, that's for sure. Interesting, these attacks against alleged Venezuelan drug cartel boats in the Caribbean. Obviously, more of this to come. We'll see what happens with it. We're about 20 seconds away from the CBS News Brief. And then after that, we're going to check in with Pennsylvania State Senator Lisa Boscola. Yesterday, we spoke to State Representative Val Gatos about her proposal to reduce the size of the General Assembly in Pennsylvania. This time, we're going to talk on the Senate end to Lisa Boscola, a Democrat. Yesterday, we talked to the Republican. But first, let's hit that news brief.
CBS News Brief. President Trump has authorized covert CIA operations in Venezuela, blaming it for drug trafficking and sending prisoners and others to the U.S.
I think Venezuela is feeling heat, but I think a lot of other countries are feeling heat, too. We're not going to let this country, our country, be ruined because other people want to drop, as you say, their worst. They have given us their worst.
President Trump will meet tomorrow with Ukraine's President Zelensky. Charlie D'Agata reports the president has mentioned providing Ukraine with long-range missiles.
Wants to know how they're going to be used and what they're going to be targeting. Again, no green light on the Tomahawks, but that will be front and center to their discussions tomorrow.
Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth's plane was forced to make an emergency landing in Britain today due to a crack in the windshield. Many journalists at the Pentagon turned in their badges today after refusing to agree to new restrictions. On Wall Street, stocks finished mixed. CBS News Brief, I'm Cammie McCormick.
My name is Patrick Mahoney, and I'm running for South Union Township Supervisor for one reason: to serve our community, not to profit from it. As a lifelong resident, a local business owner, and a volunteer, I understand the everyday challenges that we face in our township. I believe public office is a public trust. As Township Supervisor, I will fight for open, honest government, responsible spending, and decisions that put people, not my personal business interests, first. On November 4th, vote for me, Patrick Mahoney, for South Union Township Supervisor.
Paid for by friends of Patrick Mahoney.
This is attorney Michael Mays of the Davis & Davis Law Firm. We have been helping injured people just like you recover millions of dollars for over 45 years. If you're hurt or injured, I want to meet you and make sure you get the money that you deserve. Call me at 724-437-2799 for your free consultation. The Davis & Davis Law Firm has been protecting our neighbors in Greene and Fayette counties for over 45 years. Go to davisanddavislaw.com or call 724-437-2799 for your free consultation.
Just in time for the movie release of Wicked for Good, the State Theater Center for the Arts presents Good Witch, Bad Witch, The Broadway Witches, featuring two powerhouse vocalists, Ali Mazzi and Dee Rossioli, a past Elphaba and Glinda from the Broadway cast of Wicked, with stunning vocals and unforgettable performances. Good Witch, Bad Witch, The Broadway Witches, Sunday, November 23rd at 7 p.m. Get tickets online at statetheater.info or call 724-439-1360. Pick 3 season subscription packages still available.
Route 21 Furniture, take the road to your perfect home.
Sleep well tonight. Try out a new mattress from Route 21 Furniture with a large selection of mattresses, all sizes and comfort levels, with great prices, free local delivery and setup, and financing options. Route 21 Furniture. Open weekdays 9 to 5, Saturday 10 to 5, Sunday noon to 4. 724-737-2222 or Route21Furniture.com.
Route 21 Furniture. Take the road to your perfect home.
Cooler temperatures may be on the way, but you could still enjoy your deck or patio with retractable or fixed awnings from Lifetime Awnings. Made in the USA with manufacturers and customer guarantees, Lifetime Awnings products last. Lifetime Awnings is veteran-owned and operated with a 10% discount to all military veterans and their families. Call Lifetime Awnings 724-554-6067 for a no-cost or obligation home consultation. Or email John, the owner, at lifetimeawningsusa@gmail.com.
Bad hair day? Bad day at the office? Bad day behind the wheel? Hey, stuff happens, even to the best of us. At least your car insurance rate doesn't have to take a hit. Get Erie Rate Lock from Erie Insurance. Gives you a great rate that stays put until you change a car, driver, or your address. Plus, seriously good service. Now that's something to smile about.
Your Erie agent in Uniontown and Ross Traver Township is Sprowls Insurance Group, 724-437-9812, or go to sprowlsinsurance.com.
Erie Rate Lock does not guarantee continued insurance coverage and is not available in all states.
CareerLink is your one-stop resource for employment and training-related services. Visit CareerLink and you'll have access to many programs and agencies for assistance with economic, educational, and job-related needs. For more information on all the programs available to you, contact CareerLink at 724-434-JOBS. That's 724-434-JOBS.
That's Black Sabbath bringing us out of the break, which I think that song came out when I was in high school.
Yes, and we play it every night here at the station.
God rest his soul. Ozzy Osbourne. Saw them many, many years ago.
Oh, you did? Saw Ozzy?
I think at the Civic Arena in Pittsburgh, the old Civic Arena, which is long
Did
gone.
you see the stage of the cloud of smoke?
He didn't bite the head off a bat that night, though. I don't recall that happening.
Did he ever? Was
no,
that
he
urban
never
legend?
did. That was a
No.
complete
myth.
And at one point, I guess Alice Cooper called and said, "Hey, Ozzy, they think you did it, so pretend you did it. Go with that."
That's great. Alice was great.
And there's a lead into the next interview we have, right?
with the senator.
Hopefully she doesn't hang up after that semi-intro. But joining us right now on the WVU Medicine Uniontown Hospital talk line, Pennsylvania State Senator Lisa Boscola. Senator, thank you very much for joining us. How are you?
Absolutely. I'm great.
You
loved the last part. I wasn't going to do a mic drop on you.
Okay, well, thank you very much. We appreciate that, because then we have dead air, and Nick and I have to drone on endlessly to fill the time.
Well, the way you two work together, I'm sure it'd be all right.
Yeah, we do okay. Yeah, we hang out together here pretty good. We're like an old married couple, we always say. Yeah, we bicker frequently. We're rarely intimate. Let's talk about your proposal.
I got to get out there and meet you, too.
Yeah, you got to come out and have some fun. That's right. Let's talk about your proposal. I have to say, just yesterday, we interviewed your counterpart in the House, State Representative El Gatos, about her proposal to limit the size of the General Assembly. Yours goes a lot further than hers, as a matter of fact, reducing the size of the House from 203 to 101. That would be quite the difference. But how do we compare to other states in terms of the size of our legislature, the cost, that sort of thing, the impact, the effectiveness? And then we'll talk about effective lawmakers coming up, and you're on that list, which is a nice feather in your cap. But let's talk first about your proposal.
Great. So I've been introducing this bill, downsizing the legislature, for many, many years now. When you look at California, which has a population of 40 million people, their full-time legislature has only 80 House members and 40 senators. In New York, their population is nearly 20 million people, yet the General Assembly has 150 reps and 63 senators. Now you look at Pennsylvania. We are ranked 5th in population with 13 million people. We have 50 senators and 203 House of Representatives. It's just ridiculous. We can downsize, we can modernize. The people that I know, like in my district, are demanding it. We can modernize government very quickly. A smaller legislature can rely on modern tools. You know, way back when it used to be door to door and how you communicated with constituents. But now you can communicate through email, social media, video calls, town hall, virtuals. You know, there's so many avenues that we have to communicate. So I think, you know, we're outdated in how we're delivering for the people of Pennsylvania. And I think we can, if we shrink the size of the legislature, I think we'd be a more effective legislature. I mean, we don't even have a budget. It's 4 years late now. And there's too many people, like lawmakers, that I would say they vote party line. There's very, very little room for moderates anymore, probably because of redistricting over the last 40 years. So in my mind, if there's only going to be 5 people in a room making a decision on a budget, and then everybody's going to vote with their party leaders, want party line vote, why do you need all these lawmakers?
Yeah, it is, and the state house represents about 64,000 people, about 250,000 for senators, because there's obviously 4 times as many state house members. But yeah, that 64,000 number is very small if you compare that to, divide 40 million residents in California by 80 House members. They're representing a heck of a lot more than 64,000 people, aren't they?
Of course they are. And, you know, to have a House that's 4 times as large as a Senate is ridiculous. Now, I know what Representative Gatos wants to do. Her bill makes it 151, and I know why she did that, because back in 2015, the House and Senate passed a version of that, reducing it to 151, the House, but they did not touch the Senate. And that was, you know, any downsizing requires a constitutional amendment. And so that means you need to pass 2 consecutive sessions to be approved, and then by the people, so it goes on the ballot. The people will vote for this if it gets to the ballot. So, you know, what happened then was we voted that way, and then in 2017, in that when you need to pass this 2 consecutive sessions, the House decided to play games and say, okay, well, we're going to downsize ourselves, but we want the Senate downsized. And then it went to the Senate. The Senate took out the 38 number, which it was going to go from 50 to 38. They took it out, went back to the House, and the House again sent it back to the Senate saying, no, we're going to reduce ourselves, but we want the Senate reduced as well. So I know why Representative Gates is doing that. But I want to go farther because I think 151 is just too big for the House of Representatives. And the reason, I don't think the Senate is that, how could I put it, oversized, but I know for a fact that if we send over a bill to the House and it only reduces the House, they will reject it every single time. They want to see the Senate reduced as well. And that's why I introduced this.
Yeah, it's interesting when you take a look. I've done some research into Texas's General Assembly. They meet every other year for 90 days. And Texas is a pretty darn big state. It's a very different way. The governor has an immense amount of power. They elect down there, like the education commissioner. It's a different way of doing government. But they have somehow, and then simply, if they need to, in a sense of an emergency, they call an emergency session or a special session. And we've done that special session. They've done that. We've done that in Pennsylvania, but it's at the same time the other session's going. So it's more of a PR gig, I think, in Pennsylvania when there's a special session. At least that's how I interpreted it back in my day working for the Senate, and I was a lobbyist for a number of years. But you're right. The way of doing the work anymore is so much more easy and efficient. When I worked for the Senate the first time, and this was in the 90s, not all staffers had computers. When you think about that.
Seriously.
I had a dictaphone, and later when I worked for the Senate, people didn't know what a dictaphone was.
I know. I was in that era.
Yeah, it's a different world, that's for sure. It's not a simple task to change the Constitution, although it was changed, I guess, during the Wolf administration as to how emergencies can be called by the governor, correct? I think that was the last constitutional amendment.
Oh, yes, we can do this. And there's a lot of bills that both sides, Democrats and Republicans, try to put forward with constitutional amendments, even dealing with issues like abortion and so forth, that we've had to deal with. And anytime a constitutional amendment does come up on a different issue, I always add, like, reducing the size of the legislature. And for some reason it gets tabled, which is a procedural maneuver to avoid a vote.
Yeah. Your career.
Because I know nobody wants to vote against this because they know that our constituents would be really angry to know that we voted against downsizing the legislature.
Yeah.
This would pass, I bet, 95% to 5 if it went to the voters. And the only people that would vote no are the lawmakers themselves, because really what you're doing is potentially signing your pink slip. However, I always say when we downsize, you don't necessarily don't have your job. You just have to compete in a larger district for your job. The ones that might also not benefit, obviously, are staff that work for certain lawmakers and, in the Capitol. So those are probably the only people that would vote no on this.
Yeah, it's interesting to think about the massive change that would take place. I worked with a former state representative years ago. He was from Beaver County, and they didn't have an office in Harrisburg then, unless you remember leadership. And, of course, the East Wing, the expansion of the Capitol wasn't there then. He had to use a phone booth to call back home, and it had to be connected by an operator. I'm like, well, when was this? It was only in the 60s and 70s. It wasn't as if he was this was in the early part of the last century. But work got done, I guess is one way to put it. And I think work would get done this way as well.
Oh, we need to do this. We can't move hardly any real reforms or legislation that really matters to a majority of the people with this many members. 203 in the House, 50 in the Senate, it's 253 plus a governor. It is so just hard to move anything of substance. We can do little things, and build consensus on little things, but we can't do the major reforms that are needed. I mean, by adopting this reform, I think Pennsylvania can be a leader among states, showing that modernization and fiscal discipline can go hand in hand with strong democratic representation. We're not giving up that representation. I know that some members say, oh, well, our constituent service. I'm like, the House members back in my area, they fall all over each other. I'm a senator and there's 4 state representatives, and they just, at any given opportunity where we're doing community events there's 3 or 4 reps speaking and 1 senator. You can downsize the House, and other states have proven that they can be just as effective with their constituents with fewer members.
Yeah, you just mentioned a moment ago it's hard to be an effective lawmaker in that size, although some of them have managed to do it, including you. And I'm not just saying that because you're on the air with us right now, but the Center for Effective Lawmaking found that there are some on both sides of the aisle. And, of course, you're in the minority in the Senate, but you're one of the ones listed as having multiple bills passed, going beyond committee, going beyond the Senate. What do you, how do you claim that? How do you pull that off, I guess? It's very difficult when you're in the minority, but you're somewhat of a moderate, of course, and you've been pretty effective at times. How have you done it when others can't?
Because I am moderate. I'm not dug in with, I'm a Democrat, but I'm not dug in with every proposal that they have should pass. I don't think they have all the ideas that work, and neither does the Republican Party. So I work with the Republican Party a lot. And, they look at me and they go, well, this bill makes sense. She's helped us out at times, and we're going to put her bill out of committee, and then it goes over and it makes sense in the House. They vote for it. I mean, that's been my mantra ever since I'm elected. I don't vote along party lines. I never will, and I never have. So, like even recently, they want to give out loans. The treasurer wants to give out loans if interest-free, if you have to take it on loan because of our budget impasse. We have not had a budget in 105 days now. So, I voted that way, but I was only 1 or 2 Democrats to do it because I knew it was the right thing to do. You don't want people to take out loans like county government, schools, all these, and then have to pay a 4.5% interest on that. That means taxpayers are going to have to pay that interest. You know what I mean? So I'm like, they should be interest-free loans. It's not their fault. It's not nonprofit's fault or county government's fault or school district's fault that we are late with our budget. It's our fault, and they should not be penalized for that.
It has really been an impact, and we've had county commissioners on the show here saying, we have to still do these programs. We're bounded by state law in some cases to provide these services, and a chunk of that money comes from the state, and we're not getting it. So obviously that makes it very difficult for them to continue doing the job, and that's down to municipal level of government, and obviously school districts as well. One superintendent, I forget where, from the eastern part of the state said, we can't continue doing this and keep our schools open. We don't have the money to do it.
And meanwhile, the money's sitting in the Treasury getting interest every day. Think about it. Like $400 million we're keeping in our Treasury, and then we're making interest on that money. So we should be doling it out, and there's no reason why we can't. Even though the budget hasn't been enacted, I would say we should give out the same amount of money we have because we keep getting money in, from personal income taxes, sales taxes, business taxes. It's coming into the coffers in Harrisburg. Why not dole it out based on last year's numbers, right, to get us through? And that, to me, is common sense thinking. And I think back to what you said about why I'm a little bit more effective than others is because I do think that way. Common sense. I don't listen to the party bosses. They have their own agenda, right? And everybody's dug in these trenches anymore. And it's so hard to dig out. What I'm more worried about is there's less and less moderates because of redistricting going on in all the states. And I think we're being pushed out by the extremes of the left and the right.
Yeah. I remember many years ago, you were running for re-election to the State House. And obviously you're a Democrat, and Republican Governor Tom Ridge came into your district and did an event with you announcing a project. And a lot of people are like, wow, that doesn't happen too often.
No, I have a lot of photos of that. I have one good one of him and I laughing so hard because the Republicans were having a fit and the Democrats were having a fit. They're like, how would you let this Republican governor in here? And then the Republicans are like, why are you, Republican governor, going into a Democrat district? But it was because, again, I voted with the Republicans on welfare reform. We needed to do something different. This wasn't working as far as cycle after cycle of dependence, and I just know we had to break it. And again, I was one of 2 or 3 Democrats that voted with Tom Ridge at the time. And remember, it was 102-101. The Republicans had the House by 102 and the Democrats 101. So every vote mattered, and they needed us. Governor Ridge wanted that bill passed, and he needed a couple of Democratic votes. Not only did I vote for it, but I stood on the floor, which is taboo, and spoke about why I was voting for it. And then what's funny about it is when he said, Lisa, I'm coming into your district, you can sign a bill of yours. When it came to that time, the Democrats were having a fit, the Republicans were having a fit. So I called Tom Ridge, the governor, and I go, look, you made a commitment to come in our district. You really don't have to. This is causing you angst, from your party. You know what he said to me? He goes, now I'm more determined to come into your office. You were going to give me, I promised you this, you were going to give me a pass. I'm coming.
Right. That sounds like Tom Ridge.
And I respected that.
Yeah,
I love Tom Ridge. I always have. I wanted him to be president of the United States. I really did.
It's a fascinating guy. I went to college in Erie, and our listeners probably have heard this story before. And my first internship I ever did was with this freshman congressman from Erie nobody had ever heard of. I campaigned for him as a member of the Young Republicans, and it was Tom Ridge. I was his first intern in his first term in the House.
Get out. And, you're lucky.
And here was a guy who was so down to earth. He would take me out to lunch at City Hall across the street. I thought, my gosh, I'm going out to lunch with a congressman. And he never seemed to change that. I'd bump into him over the years.
Did.
And he was just a very down-to-earth guy who hit the heights. I mean, good heavens, he was Secretary of Homeland Security, the first one in the Bush administration. So, yeah, fascinating guy. But I guess you have to be a political geek like me to remember that story about Tom Ridge going into your district in an election year, let alone just any time at all. But that's an example.
Okay, geek, I'm going to have to come out and visit you.
Yeah, stop out and see how we do things. And speaking of, I worked for Senator Arlen Specter for 12 years, speaking of moderates. And another moderate guy who took hits at times for being a moderate, but that's part of the job. But again...
Well, but he had it relatively easy compared to now if you're a moderate.
Oh, yeah.
It's just getting worse and worse.
Heck, it cost him his career, although...
And that's what people are. I talk to people in my district. They're not dug in either way. Well, some are, handfuls are. But actually, the average person wants us to get along, do our work, and do it together, recognizing that Democrats and Republicans both get elected in districts, and they have to work together. And especially, I guess that's the challenge in Pennsylvania. We're one of 2 states that have divided government.
Yeah, no, you have one. I think Michigan's one, and I thought there was one more. But yeah, there aren't many that have a divided Democrats on one side of the Capitol, Republicans running the other side of the Capitol. It's very, very rare. For more information, of course, about Lisa Boscola, go to her website, senatorboscola.com, Boscola. We appreciate your taking time to join us today. We always go off topic during interviews, and I enjoyed this one.
Thank you.
And more good music in the background here, Nicholas. Which one's this? We had Ozzy Osbourne a second ago.
Thunderstruck, AC/DC.
Oh, AC/DC.
Love it.
These are concerts we all went back in the day and don't remember, but that's a whole other matter, I guess. Senator, enjoyed our conversation with you.
Thank
You're always
you.
welcome to come out here sometime. We'll see you sometime here at the studio.
Thank you. Anytime.
All right.
All right.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
State Senator Lisa Boscola does her job. She really does. Moderate, gets things done. She's considered one of the most effective senators. And she's in the minority. And the Republicans have run the state Senate, except for about 2 years. For decades, it's been in Republican control. The House has gone back and forth over the years. Let's take a break and wrap up our first hour. I'm Doug Saltz, and that's Nick Barczyk. We are with you until 8 p.m. tonight. Stick around.
Businesses come in all shapes and sizes. Integrity doesn't. For more than a century, the Better Business Bureau has set the standards for how businesses should operate honestly and ethically. So when you're looking for a business you can trust, check to see who's BBB accredited and who isn't. Always choose the better business. Look for the BBB seal because it's looking out for you. That's why it's the sign of a better business. And find a better business anytime at bbb.org.
Looking for a fireplace? Koval Building Supply at 40 Monroe Avenue in Uniontown is more than your plumbing supply store. We specialize in fireplaces of all fuel types, such as gas, wood, pellet, and electric. We're now featuring Harmon pellet stoves from Forge and Flame, perfect for keeping your family warm and cozy. Call Koval today at 724-437-8824 or visit kovalsupply.com to start planning for the winter season. Koval Building Supply, everything you need to make your house feel like home.
Any day is a good day to shop at Reese Warehouse, where you will find your favorite brands of furniture, bedding, and appliances at great prices every day. Plus great service, such as delivery and setup in your home, and no interest financing available for qualified buyers. Shop Monday through Friday, 9 until 6, and Saturday, 9 till 5. Reese Warehouse, the Superstore, Gans Woodbridge Road in Smithfield. And Reese Warehouse thanks you for choosing them as the 2024 Best in Fayette Appliance and Mattress Store.
Shopping for replacement windows in Fayette County? Metropolitan Window Company elevates your shopping experience.
John, Maggie, and Justin Schmutzer here from Metropolitan Window Company, a family-owned and operated window and door company for over 47 years.
When you choose Metropolitan Window Company, you'll experience personalized knowledge, expertise, and professionalism from our first visit to your home until our craftsmen complete your installation.
We're the window company that people want in their homes, and our exclusive Infinity by Marvin 100% fiberglass windows are the windows people love.
They're built for life. They are the strongest, longest-lasting windows you can buy.
We have a great selection of colors and finishes. We service the entire Fayette County area and will come to your home. Visit us at metropolitanwindows.com or give us a call at
412-655-8411.
PA 1565.
Did you know that you have a choice for your physical therapy provider? NovaCare Rehabilitation offers same-day appointments, and oftentimes you don't need a prescription from your doctor to see us. We will make sure that you are treated as an individual and will work directly one-on-one with you to help achieve your goals. You have tried the rest, now try the best. NovaCare, Delaware Avenue in Uniontown. Phone 724-437-0556 to schedule your appointment today.
CareerLink is your one-stop resource for employment and training-related services. Visit CareerLink and you'll have access to many programs and agencies for assistance with economic, educational, and job-related needs. For more information on all the programs available to you, contact CareerLink at 724-434-JOBS. That's 724-434-JOBS.
Wow, your dog looks beautiful.
We went to Mutt's on Market Street, the new dog grooming salon in downtown Brownsville. Samantha, the owner, has over 10 years dog grooming experience. They work with any dog, any breed, any size.
Didn't it cost a fortune?
No, the prices are great. They offer a full line of grooming and other services.
With warm weather, now's the time to schedule an appointment for your furry friends. Mutt's on Market Street, downtown Brownsville, next to Hope Park. For more information, visit Mutt's on Market Street on Facebook. Mutt's on Market Street will be open during the Market Street repairs.
WNBS.
Led Zeppelin bringing us out of the break there as we wrap up hour number 1. 45 seconds left here. I don't even have a guest.
Do we hear the scream? Yeah.
Nick, keep your day job.
Yeah, Robert Plant does it better, doesn't he?
Good screaming. He probably thought, we don't have any lyrics here. Don't worry about it. I'll just scream.
I'll just scream. Jimmy, you keep playing.
No, we need something here.
Yeah.
Okay, Raj, you scream. And
That's
it
amazing.
becomes one of the great screams of all time.
It is one of the best screams in rock history.
Coming up in the 6 o'clock hour, we're going to talk to Jeff Gilbert about a AAA pedestrian tech issue.
AAA
also,
baseball?
General Motors is struggling with their electric vehicles. Neil Rudell, 40 years he's covered Penn State football for the Altoona Mirror. We talked to one of his colleagues yesterday. We're going to talk to him. It's the talk of the state, James Franklin being retired. But news first on WMBS Uniontown.
This is CBS News on the Hour, sponsored by O'Reilly Auto Parts.
I'm Cammie McCormick. President Trump today ratcheted up the pressure on Venezuela over drug trafficking and other issues.
We've almost totally stopped it by sea. Now we'll stop it by land.
What's the next
But
step?
it never worked. It never worked when you did it in a very politically correct manner.
CBS's Ed O'Keefe on what that may mean.
There's no evidence as of now that there are plans for land operations. We do know, though, that the deployment of at least 6,000 U.S. forces across the Caribbean Sea area and the operations that have been carried out in recent weeks to take out those alleged boats, drug boats, are significant, certainly for this region of the world, and suggest there could be more to come.
And the president has authorized covert CIA activities in Venezuela. Analyst Steve Elner.
I wonder to what extent this news item was intentional, that the Trump administration is just upping the pressure on Venezuela, because undoubtedly the United States has CIA agents all over the world and probably in Venezuela.
Hamas turned over the remains of 2 more hostages today, but said that's all it can reach. A senior U.S. official insists no one will be left behind. President Trump was asked about it.
What is your understanding of the pace of returning the deceased hostages? Are you pleased?
Well, they're looking for them. Absolutely. They're looking. So we have the living hostages all back. They returned some more today. It's a gruesome process. I almost hate to talk about it. But they're digging.
The remains of 9 hostages have been returned to Israel out of 28. A federal judge has blocked the Trump administration from firing workers during the shutdown. They're still not receiving pay, and Pat Vitale reports from Detroit. Local businesses are stepping up.
The Anchor Bar is offering free meals to federal employees during the government shutdown. Owner Nabi Ayad tells me it's about taking care of the people caught in the middle of all the politics.
We just felt it was prudent to help them out during these challenging times.
Ayad says the free meals will go through the duration of the government shutdown, which is now in its 15th day.
Matt Piper reports on an unusual recall.
Ben's Original is recalling a number of rice products due to the possible presence of small stones in the rice. The FDA says the stones are naturally occurring and originate from the rice farm, but that they pose possible risk of oral or digestive tract injury if eaten. The recall includes Ben's white, brown, and wild rice packs with best buy dates of August 2026. The products were sold at places like Target, United Markets, Amazon, and more.
On Wall Street today, stocks finished mixed. This is CBS News.
Think O'Reilly Auto Parts for all your car care needs. Get the parts and service you need fast from the professional parts people at O'Reilly Auto Parts.
Just in time for the movie release of Wicked for Good, the State Theater Center for the Arts presents Good Witch, Bad Witch, The Broadway Witches, featuring 2 powerhouse vocalists, Ali Mazzi and Dee Rossioli, a past Elphaba and Glinda from the Broadway cast of Wicked, with stunning vocals and unforgettable performances. Good Witch, Bad Witch, The Broadway Witches, Sunday, November 23rd at 7 p.m. Get tickets online at statetheater.info or call 724-439-1360. Pick 3 season subscription packages still available.
Wow, your dog looks beautiful.
We went to Mutt's on Market Street, the new dog grooming salon in downtown Brownsville. Samantha, the owner, has over 10 years dog grooming experience. They work with any dog, any breed, any size.
Didn't it cost a fortune?
No, the prices are great. They offer a full line of grooming and other services.
With warm weather, now's the time to schedule an appointment for your furry friends. Mutt's on Market Street, downtown Brownsville, next to Hope Park. For more information, visit Mutt's on Market Street on Facebook. Mutt's on Market Street will be open during the Market Street repairs.
There are New Signs TV productions taking a hit on the West Coast. Deborah Rodriguez has that.
Don't we want to see all the craziness?
A new report from Film LA, a nonprofit that handles filming permits for Southern California, shows shooting days on reality TV shows dropped almost 21% over the summer. That's thanks to labor costs and subsidies offered elsewhere. But that could change. The data was collected before the state's newly bolstered film and TV tax credit program took full effect. Film LA's president says they're already seeing early signs the incentives are working. Larry David's new series has already received a $9 million credit. Deborah Rodriguez, CBS News.
2 major labor unions have authorized strike action amid ongoing contract negotiations with Broadway producers. Actors and musicians are supporting the walkout. I'm Cammie McCormick, CBS News.
The local district and statewide news is being brought to you by Fayette Area Coordinated Transportation, striving harder to get you farther. For more information, call 724-628-RIDE. And now to the news.
60 degrees and cloudy skies at 6:05 on a Wednesday. I'm Nick Barczyk from the Davis & Davis Studios. Davis & Davis Attorneys at Law. Injured, call today for your free consultation, 724-437-2799. Your local station, WMBS, Sports and Weather on the way. State Representative Charity Grimm-Krupa of Fayette County announced the Pennsylvania Infrastructure Investment Authority awarded nearly $10 million in grants and low-interest loans for 2 projects in Fayette County. The first is for Pennsylvania American Water Company's replacement of around 390 lead service lines at locations approved by the Pennsylvania DEP, Department of Environmental Protection, in the city of Uniontown, North Union, and South Union Townships. PennVest approved a grant of nearly $3 million and a low-interest loan of nearly $2.5 million. The second is for the borough of Masontown and their work to install exterior meter pits and replace nearly 1,230 water meters at all service connections. This is expected to reduce water loss in the borough from the service connection to the customer water meters, which are right now in residents' houses. PennVest approved a grant of $975,000 and also a low-interest loan of $3.5 million. West Virginia University has issued a campus warning in Morgantown, West Virginia. That's West Virginia University issued that after multiple burglaries were reported over the weekend. University police said that people who live along North High Street and Belmar Avenue near campus reported items being stolen from rooms in the early morning hours of this past Saturday, the 11th, and Sunday, the 12th. Authorities said the reports were filed hours after the alleged burglaries, and it appears the homes were gotten into through unlocked doors and windows. 3 suspects have been identified by police in connection with the burglaries, but no descriptions were given. Anyone with information is asked to dial 1-304-293-3136 and submit a tip online or visit the department along Chestnut Ridge Road. With less than 3 weeks to go until the November 4th general election, thousands of mail-in and absentee ballots are now arriving in mailboxes around southwest Pennsylvania for voters to decide a range of positions from local races to statewide judicial seats. The Herald Standard reports that elections officials in Fayette and Washington began sending out mail-in ballots last week, while Greene County began mailing most of them in early this month, giving voters plenty of time to make their selections and get their ballots back to the election bureaus before Election Day on the 4th of next month. This year's general election features a variety of municipal and school board races, along with some county row office positions. And the Somerset County Mobile Food Bank is receiving a $15,000 grant from the First Energy Foundation to help combat rising food prices and demand that is going up. The funding is all part of a larger $2.5 million donation to hunger relief organizations around 6 states and will be used specifically for buying food. Officials say the grant will help the mobile food bank meet the growing needs of the community in Somerset. And a Facebook group page that was allegedly used to dox and target ICE agents is being taken offline this week. Rory O'Neill has more on that.
Posting on X, Attorney General Pam Bondi announced the anti-ICE Facebook page was shut down and said the Justice Department will continue engaging tech companies to eliminate platforms where radicals can incite imminent violence against federal law enforcement. Meta rivals like Apple and Google have also recently removed apps that could be used to anonymously report sightings of ICE agents and other law enforcement. I'm Rory O'Neill.
More next on WMBS.
Take the fact.
Need to get to work? Run errands? See a doctor? Fact connects Fayette County. Ride our convenient routes through Uniontown, Connellsville, Brownsville, even to Pittsburgh. Seniors 65 and older ride free on fixed routes. People with disabilities get big savings, and Medicaid recipients can ride to medical appointments at no cost through our shared ride and paratransit services. Find out if you qualify today. Call 724-628-RIDE or visit factbus.com. Fact, your ride, your independence.
In sports, the Steelers getting ready for their game against the Bengals, looking to win another one and go to 5-1, win their 4th in a row, taking on the Bengals in Cincinnati. Steelers will be without special teams captain Miles Killebrew, who suffered a knee injury against the Browns in the win on Sunday. Wide receiver Calvin Austin's been dealing with an injury. He's expected to try to give it a go. Steelers-Bengals Thursday on the air just after the news at 6, and the game just after 8 o'clock on WMBS. Last night, Penguins fell as they looked to bounce back. They lost to the Ducks, look to bounce back at Los Angeles, taking on the Kings Thursday. We'll join that after the Steelers on WMBS.
The local, district, and statewide news has been a service of Fact, Fayette Area Coordinated Transportation, striving harder to get you farther. Phone 724-628-RIDE for routes, rates, and schedules. 724-628-RIDE for Fact.
The WMBS Weather Watch is being brought to you by Patrick Mahoney, candidate for South Union Township Supervisor. A lifelong resident, local business owner, and volunteer, Patrick Mahoney wants to serve our community, will work to attract more business to our area, and will be a full-time 24/7 supervisor, and would appreciate your vote on Election Day. And now the weather.
Right now it's 60, went up to 65 degrees. A frost advisory overnight from midnight through 9 a.m. Thursday. Almost too cold for Doug Saltzman sleeping weather. Don't want frost, do we, Doug? Get the plants inside. Overnight low at 39. I'm not turning your mic on yet. 63 on Thursday, 64 with sun Friday, 78 with sun Saturday, then all the way down to 68 with rain likely Sunday, which is good. I won't feel guilty about watching 10 hours of football. Monday at 58 degrees and rain back Tuesday into Wednesday at 63 and lows down near 40. Right now it's 6:11, 60 outside of our Davis and Davis studios on a Wednesday evening here in Fayette County. Good evening. I'm Nick Barczyk. On the way next, more of the afternoon drive show with Doug Saltzman on until 8 tonight. CBS World News Roundup at 7, all on the way tonight on WMBS.
The WMBS Weather Watch was brought to you by Patrick Mahoney, a lifelong resident, local business owner, volunteer, and candidate for South Union Township Supervisor. Patrick Mahoney wants to serve our community, will work to attract new business to the area, and will be a full-time 24/7 supervisor. Patrick Mahoney would appreciate your vote for Township Supervisor on Election Day.
Shopping for replacement windows in Fayette County? Metropolitan Window Company elevates your shopping experience.
John, Maggie, and Justin Schmutzer here from Metropolitan Window Company, a family-owned and operated window and door company for over 47 years.
When you choose Metropolitan Window Company, you'll experience personalized knowledge, expertise, and professionalism from our first visit to your home until our craftsmen complete your installation.
We're the window company that people want in their homes, and our exclusive Infinity by Marvin 100% fiberglass windows are the windows people love.
They're built for life. They are the strongest, longest-lasting windows you can buy.
We have a great selection of colors and finishes. We service the entire Fayette County area and will come to your home. Visit us at metropolitanwindows.com or give us a call at
412-655-8411.
PA 1565.
Have you been told there is nothing that can be done for your neuropathy?
Tri-State Neuropathy Centers is pleased to tell you that's not true. As one of the largest and most successful neuropathy treatment practices in the country, Tri-State Neuropathy Centers has grown to 9 regional centers and helped over 14,000 patients, like Kim from Morgantown. Kim was experiencing such severe numbness, burning, and stabbing pain in her feet that she constantly felt distracted in life. Then Kim discovered Tri-State Neuropathy Centers and their effective FDA-approved treatment program that has no drugs, is non-invasive, and painless. Kim no longer has the pain that was limiting her daily activities, and she's now enjoying life again. Tri-State Neuropathy Centers helped Kim, along with thousands of others. Let them help you next. Call 304-777-2068. That's 304-777-2068. Tri-State Neuropathy Centers, the leader in treating peripheral neuropathy.
Yeah, they're the people I trust. It's the place I go. Home, warehouse, where a house becomes a home.
A Best in Fayette winner for windows and home improvements, Home Warehouse in Uniontown knows how to make your house a happy home. Seasons are changing. Save on energy costs, keep out drafts, and update your home with beautiful new windows, doors, and storm doors from Home Warehouse, your one-stop shop for all your exterior building needs. Roofing shingles, metal and commercial rubber roofing, shutters, siding, soffit and fascia, railing and decking, as well as driveway cedar, flooring, wood pellets at great prices, and don't forget the dog food. So for selection and hometown service, see Sandy and Donnie at Home Warehouse, Carlsville Street in Uniontown. Shop Monday through Friday, 8 to 4:30, Saturday till noon, closed Sunday and holidays.
Home, warehouse, where a house becomes a home.
Are you considering a project design and don't know where to start? K2 Engineering offers a wide range of professional civil, architectural, and municipal services to meet your individual project needs. Our versatility, combined with our personalized approach, is what sets us apart as a full-service engineering and consultation firm. To learn more about our services, please visit us on the web at www.k2engineering.net. K2 Engineering, where customer service is our priority.
Hey everybody, Friday night under the lights are back. High school football is more than a game. It's about community, teamwork, and pride. Just like our local heroes who serve our nation, Fayette County Recorder of Deeds is proud to honor our veterans with the Veteran ID program. By recording your DD214, veterans can receive a secure photo ID and access discounts at participating local businesses. Support our student athletes, support our veterans. Together we build a stronger Fayette County.
Now, you don't have to travel too far for medical marijuana products. Go to Local Leaf in Scottdale for a wide variety of locally grown and locally sourced products, plus your questions answered on medical marijuana, qualifying medical conditions, or how to register for your medical card. Local Leaf by PHG off Route 119 in Scottdale, 412-417-4964. Online at localleafpa.com. Local Leaf, your medical marijuana dispensary with locally grown and locally sourced products in Scottdale.
Oh, if you could only hear what Nick and I talk about off the air.
Yes.
Talking about Roseanne Barr.
Roseanne and Jerry Seinfeld. We're talking about 90s comedy. What is this, 1993? Where there's only 3 channels?
Yeah, boy, those were the days, my friend.
Oh, yeah, those were the days.
I thought
Clinton was in
never end.
office. Yeah.
Yeah, that's...
Anyway.
I want to thank State Senator Lisa Boscola. He seemed to enjoy our conversation.
Yeah, she's a happy gal.
Yeah, we don't... nobody ever leaves one of our interviews and says, that was boring.
No, exactly. And she's a state senator. The nonsense she has to put up with, I'm sure she enjoys hanging out with us.
Yeah, she's been has been a state senator or state representative, then a state senator, and she's very moderate. Considered, I didn't go into a lot of details on this, but I did mention it during the interview. She's noted as one of the most effective legislators in Pennsylvania, and she's a Democrat in the Republican-controlled Senate. So we should name them all. Lisa Baker, Scott Martin, Douglas Mastriano on the Republican side, State Senators Tim Kearney, Vince Hughes, and Lisa Boscola earned the top scores among Democrats for the most effective legislators in Harrisburg. And of course, that's on the Senate side. So that's pretty impressive to get that much legislation through when you're in the minority party.
And here we are in 2025, Doug, and that story about Tom Ridge visiting her event, and they did a rally together. That seems so foreign now. Could you imagine a Democrat and a Republican working together publicly?
Yeah.
I mean, it just seems...
He came in and signed legislation that was hers, which you do on those tables. You have all the people gathered around.
Could you imagine AOC and Mike Johnson hanging out doing a rally? That's what it would be like. It would absurd.
Yeah, and you have to be a geek like me to remember that.
Well, there's that.
Yeah, that's back in my days. First time I worked for the state senate, and then I was a lobbyist up there for many years for both Blue Cross and also for the Pittsburgh Chamber of Commerce. Boy, I missed that. I enjoyed working for the Chamber of Commerce because there's only a few chambers in the state that had their own lobbyists. So when other chambers were coming to Harrisburg, I was like on call. I'm like, hey, give me a call. Introduce you to people. I knew the legislators, knew the members, and that's the way it. That's the way it worked. Coming up at the bottom of the hour, we're going to talk to Neil Rudel. He is the former executive editor of the Altoona Mirror. He has covered Penn State football for more than 40 years. That's a bigger topic in Pennsylvania, I think, right now than anything else.
Oh, than anything.
The firing of James Franklin.
Forget the state budget, even our 4-1 Steelers.
Yeah, that's and if our next guest wants to talk about the firing of James Franklin, that would be fine. But we're going to talk about some other topics first. Joining us on the WVU Medicine Uniontown Hospital Talk Line, WWJ radio reporter, automotive industry analyst for CBS News, Jeff Gilbert. Jeff, thanks for joining us today. How are you?
I am doing great.
AAA pedestrian tech. Let's start with that topic. Then we're going to talk about General Motors taking a pretty good charge regarding their electric vehicles. But let's talk about this issue of AAA pedestrian tech. Explain that to us.
Well, this is technology that's been on vehicles for a while. It means to identify pedestrians, and at a low speed, it'll brake the vehicle if it spots a pedestrian. AAA has been testing it and has found that it's doing a better job of detecting and stopping for pedestrians at night than it used to. They did a round of tests about 5 years ago, and the systems didn't really work well at night. They updated those tests, and they found about 60% of the time the systems do brake for the pedestrians. Again, you as the driver are supposed to be watching. These systems serve as a backup if for some reason you're not watching, and then they'll stop you.
Yeah. Now, this is interesting how you talk about it being to detect pedestrians. My brother has a camera on the back of the house that's supposed to only give them an alert if there's a person out there as opposed to a deer or a chipmunk or something. So this technology, I would... Does it also notice deer, for instance, as we have a lot of them here in southwestern PA? Or is it specifically designed just to notice humans?
It's designed to notice humans. I can't say that it wouldn't stop for a deer, but it's designed specifically to notice humans. And realize we're in the infancy of technology. The technology today uses cameras. It's camera-based. There are technologies in development that actually use thermal imaging, and I have seen some of the early prototypes of some of these systems, and they're quite impressive, and they can tell a person from a deer, and they can give you alerts, tell you what might be lurking in the bushes on the side of the road that you might see ahead of time, so you need to slow down. So, we're seeing improvements in technology all of the time.
Yeah. To define thermal imaging, I guess we're talking about if folks are used to watching cop shows and they've got a helicopter up above, they can follow a suspect just from the heat he's giving off at nighttime and through someone's backyard, or at least if they're outside, it wouldn't get them inside a building, at least not at that level.
You explained it. It picks up the heat signature, and humans have a different heat signature than animals do. I had one person at an auto supplier that was working on this technology talk about how he was driving through a park at night, and he was amazed how many different heat signals this would pick up because there were so many deer and other animals in the bushes.
Yeah, it's interesting. But I have a very old car. But when I used to work for a car dealership, I'd be driving all kinds of different cars from time to time. And the idea of your car slowing down because the traffic in front of you was going slower. And, I would settle on cruise control, and I was always amazed. All of a sudden, I'd look down, and I'd be going 10 miles below the speed limit because the truck in front of me was going 10 miles below the speed limit. So the technology really is amazing at times of what it can do. The idea is it's getting to the point where folks just simply don't depend on that to keep them safe, I suppose, right?
Right, exactly. Again, you as the driver are in control. These systems are backup systems that are supposed to work if for some reason you don't see anybody. Because, again, there are issues with seeing people at night, particularly in rain and fog and bad weather. People sometimes don't necessarily dress in the most reflective clothing. And that brings me to another part of this AAA test. They tested it with reflective clothing. Some systems did a great job of noticing it. A few others, the reflective clothing actually made people harder to see with these systems. So early days, and they're being refined as we learn more.
Yeah, more things to break, my grandfather would have said. Of course, he avoided...
Yeah, my mother used to say that about cars, too. And that goes back to the old days we went to push buttons from crank windows. I don't want those in my car. It's something else to break.
Something else to break. How old is my 2001 Toyota Echo? It has crank windows. Yes, that's I'm driving my daughter's old car.
Cassette player.
Yeah, because she's driving mine, I guess is an explanation of that. Let's move on to that second topic, and you reported on this yesterday. General Motors incurring a $1.6 billion with a B in charges tied to its pullback from electric vehicles. A lot of this has to do with the change in administration policies, I suppose, correct?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, GM invested a lot of money in electric vehicles. A year or so ago, they were saying they aspired to be all electric by 2035. Well, the marketplace has changed. The government has changed. There are no longer incentives to buy electric vehicles. There are no longer penalties for certain emission situations. And that's made people a little less interested in EVs. So GM has backed off on plans to convert certain plants to electric vehicles. They've also shut down some plants because they don't need as many electric vehicles. All of this costs money, and the tab that they put at this particular point is $1.6 billion. That's going to be put into their fourth quarter financial picture, and they've warned that more of that could be coming.
$1.6 billion is a massive amount of money for GM. It's not as much as it is for the average person, but that type of impact nonetheless grabs notice, doesn't it?
It does. You know, the old saying, $1 billion here, $1 billion there. Before long, you're talking about real money.
Yeah, that's right. That was a U.S. Senator.
Everett Dirksen.
There we go. There's a building named after him. One of the Senate office buildings named after him. See, this guy knows everything, Nick. That's because he's from Pittsburgh, for heaven's sake. Jeff Gilbert has an entire understanding of all this type of thing. As we talk about these two topics. Yeah, at the very beginning of cars being able to sense cars around them. And if you had your turn signal on, it would give you a warning that a car was coming up on your left side if you wanted to switch lanes. People thought that was crazy at the time, and it didn't always work effectively. But these things take time, obviously, and they're not going to work effective immediately. And again, as AAA has recommended, don't rely solely on the technology, avoid risky behaviors, all the standard stuff that needs to be said. But unfortunately, there are those crazy stories. You see somebody sleeping in an automated car as the car is going down a highway. Now, that's one, and thank heavens, 10 million. But again, all that stuff has to be at the same time. Technology, yes. Vigilance, even stronger, I suppose.
Yeah, and again, until we have truly self-driving cars, you're the driver, you're responsible. Everything else is a backup.
Yeah. You've been every type of car imaginable. I was in one of these cabs that, yes, there was somebody sitting there because they couldn't just send out the cab just yet in the Pittsburgh area. But it was strange that he wasn't driving that vehicle, and I was sitting in that car, and it was going along. I wasn't all that concerned. I was more interested in looking around, frankly. Usually if you're in a cab or an Uber, you're not paying attention to the outside world. You're probably staring at your phone. But it was fascinating that this is happening, and Pittsburgh has been one of the leaders in the technology of it, thanks to CMU and other local companies here. But
actually, when you talk about self-driving technology, it was born at Central Michigan, not Central Michigan. I'm getting mixed up now. At Carnegie Mellon University. See, CMU is different depending on where you are, but it was born at Carnegie Mellon University with their technology. GM worked with them. Then that same team went to Waymo. Now they're at other areas. So yeah, the Pittsburgh area is one of the birthplaces of that technology.
Yeah, and you go down in the old Hazelwood section of the city. If you're looking at from above, there's a whole town set up with roads. It's sort of fascinating, and there's not that's where they test the vehicles. So it's sort of funny seeing that. It's a fake town. Somebody once asked me if they did movies there. I'm like, no, that's not the back lot at Universal. That's a test track for automated vehicles. Jeff Gilbert, WWJ Radio in Detroit, and of course, automotive industry reporter for CBS News. Jeff, we always enjoy our conversations with you. Thanks a lot.
Always a pleasure.
All righty. Jeff Gilbert. Great radio voice, Jeff Gilbert.
Oh, he's great.
Not quite the Nick Barczyk.
Well, no. Or Tim Schwer, God rest his soul,
But
the
then,
best.
Yeah, Tim Schwer. Great voice. People have asked me if I'm in radio when they've heard my voice. I never thought I had that type of voice.
Oh, you do. The timbre in it.
The
yeah,
timbre?
you have good timbre.
Do I have good timbre?
Yeah, well, let's be honest. You have a good face
Well,
for it.
I
That's
had no
what they
idea
say.
I had timbre. And I never thought I was musical until my ex-wife always told me I had a tone in my voice.
Oh, that's
I don't
beautiful.
like that tone. I didn't know I was musical.
Was that a Rodney Dangerfield line? Hey,
Jerry
you know, I tell you.
Seinfeld.
Oh, Seinfeld.
He said he didn't know he was musical till his wife complained
I like
about the
that.
tone in his
That's
voice.
a good one. Well, he's worth millions of dollars, and you rip off his jokes. Yeah.
Well, sometimes maybe I should come up with my own stuff.
Oh, please. There hasn't been a fresh idea in 40 years.
I tried to do that once. Stand up. You got like
Oh.
3 minutes. Let me tell you.
Oh, you did it?
Yeah, at some bar up in Erie. And it felt like it was 90 minutes.
Exactly.
And I had prepared for that 3 minutes.
Oh, you had? You didn't like drunkenly go up?
No, I did prepare for it. And it's tough.
Yeah. What was your opening line? A mother-in-law joke or
I
something?
don't remember what it was.
No.
I wasn't married at the time. Probably some college-related joke.
Yeah. Hey, how about the dorms, huh? Yeah, it's so cold in the dorm.
That
yeah.
goes over well, like in a townie. Yeah, this was a bar in the city of Erie. This wasn't like an on-campus thing.
Oh boy!
First off, I'm sure they never go to the bars at the townies.
No,
because they don't like the college kids hanging out.
No. But that is brutal stand-up. I have the utmost respect for them. They have to write it, deliver it, and you have strangers looking at you.
Yeah, I mean, you watch the late night guys. Johnny Carson used to joke how hard it was to do, and he said, "I have a whole staff writing this stuff."
He has a whole staff of writers. He's not dealing with drunks at 2 a.m. He's
right. Yeah,
he's in a studio, confined space on national TV. People like
who
him.
love him to start with.
They adore him.
Yeah, that would be very difficult. I watched the old Johnny Carson shows, and the 100th anniversary of his birth is coming up.
Oh, Johnny's going to be 100. Wow.
They're going to have a special week.
Willard Scott can wish him happy birthday on the Today Show.
Yeah, and
boy, that's an old reference.
There we go. And Doc Severinsen is still alive. That'd be a good interview.
Is Doc still alive?
Yeah, and because he's doing commentary during these things. And
I was going to say McMahon's not alive because he hasn't showed up with a big check for me.
Yeah, no, he promised to because I might already be a winner.
He's plugging Budweiser as we speak in heaven.
Coming up after the break at the bottom of the hour, we're going to talk to Neil Rudell about Penn State football, the talk of not just the talk of the town, but the talk of the state. And then Professor Birdwood Yost is going to join us on his latest polling, and we're going to have open talk at 7:15, Nick. So we'll make sure we remind folks at the top of the hour, if they want to call in, we're going to have 15 minutes of open talk on the WVU Medicine Uniontown Hospital Talk Line. But before that, let's go to New York for the news brief. Stick around.
CBS News Brief. President Trump said today he's authorized covert CIA operations in Venezuela.
Does the CIA have authority to take out Maduro?
Oh, I don't want to answer a question like that. That's a ridiculous question for me to be given. Not really a ridiculous question, but wouldn't it be a ridiculous question for me to answer?
2 more bodies of hostages were handed over today to Israel. That's 9 Hamas has returned out of 28. Senior U.S. advisors say many bodies could be buried under unexploded ordnance. CBS's Deborah Patta.
We spoke to hostage negotiator Gershom Baskin, who told us, sadly, some bodies may never be recovered. He said many of the Hamas commanders who buried the Israeli hostages were killed by Israel.
A federal judge today temporarily blocked the administration from firing federal workers during the government shutdown. Unions had challenged the legality of the firings. CBS News Brief, I'm Cammie McCormick.
Looking for a new spot for a night out? Then check out Shindig's Bar and Grill in Uniontown, located in Oliver Square. With regular live entertainment and themed events, and offering 6 diamond pool tables and 3 dartboards, Shindig's is the place to be. Enjoy daily specials, including Tuesday wing night, Friday's Cajun chicken Alfredo, and Saturday's incredible crab leg dinner. And stick around for karaoke nights, live music, and so much more. Follow them on Facebook at Shindig's with a Z Bar and Grill. Shindig's, your hootenanny hotspot. Hard work, respecting others, and being a good team member are values that South Union Township Supervisor Jason Scott knows well. Whether he's running a machine, repairing storm drains, operating a plow truck, or working with his fellow supervisors on economic growth, Jason Scott is working every day to keep residents safe, maintain the strength of our local businesses, and enhance the quality of life in South Union Township. Best wishes for a great season from Jason Scott, who would appreciate your vote for Township Supervisor.
Paid for by the candidate.
CareerLink is your one-stop resource for employment and training-related services. Visit CareerLink and you'll have access to many programs and agencies for assistance with economic, educational, and job-related needs. For more information on all the programs available to you, contact CareerLink at 724-434-JOBS. That's 724-434-JOBS.
Welcome back to the Afternoon Drive Show. We're with you for the late edition tonight till 8 o'clock. And the talk of the state these days, of course, have not the state budget being delayed, not everything else going on in the world, but the firing of James Franklin as Penn State's football coach. It certainly was predicted. I think it surprised a lot of people that it happened during the season after a three-game losing streak to two very awful teams. Joining us right now to talk about that, literally, there's nobody who knows more about Penn State football, has covered it for more than 40 years for the Altoona-Mirror, former editor of the newspaper as well, Neil Rudell. Neil, thanks for joining us today. How are you?
Hey, Doug. Great. Thanks for having me.
You're welcome. I read your articles, your columns leading up to it. It seemed like most folks realized that something had to be done. James Franklin was given everything he asked for and just did not deliver, even at the lowest levels of football, I guess, is one way to put it.
Yeah. You know, after 12 years, though, there's still a certain sense of, shock and sadness for, people aren't going to feel too bad for somebody that's getting a $50 million buyout. But I think in a lot of ways, he was the right guy at the right time. And I think he did a lot of things well. He just he didn't check the top box, which is, beat the toughest teams, even his share of the time. His game management was not good, but he did restore the program on a national stage at a time that was really fragile in their history. So I want to give him credit for that. This year they had gone all in, and they just have not been able to put it together. They're really on the verge of the season is now pretty much a disaster. But I was surprised they fired him mid-season, but clearly their minds are made up, and it had become very toxic in the stadium. The fans were chanting to fire him loudly. I had never seen that before, 2 games in a row. So something had to be done, and if you know you have to do it, you might as well get on with it.
Yeah, it's not a simple thing, that's for sure. Terry Smith is either a nervous wreck or realizes, what do I have to lose at this point? He is, of course, the interim coach. Clearly, given the interim title, there was nothing shy about that. They came right out and said it. He's interim. Does he have an opportunity to be that coach, or do you think they're going to go in a totally different direction with a whole new staff?
I can't imagine that, Doug. I mean, I can't imagine him winning 6 games in a row. But I guess if he does, the momentum will build for him. He's a great guy. He's a lifelong Penn State guy. He's 3 generations. His father went to Penn State. His stepson is Justin King, who helped bring the program back after it had faltered in the early 2000s. But I would think more likely that he'd be a guy that, keeps the roof as much on the building as possible and then is retained by the next guy, depending who that is.
Right. Yeah, that's what's going to be interesting, obviously. And obviously there's names out there that folks have talked about who it might be, the Indiana coach. But if they go into the playoffs, you can't wait until January to decide who the next coach is. That would simply be too late because you're missing a first round of recruiting season, right?
Oh, I know. I mean, it is definitely a conundrum in that regard. I mean, anybody that's in the college football playoff, and Penn State experienced it the last year, I mean, they were on their way to what, should have been 17 games, and that would have been around, January 10th. And, you're going to be going through where the signing day has been moved up to early December. They're losing recruits, and then the transfer portal will open up. So, Cignetti, I don't know. I mean, you can put a wart on probably every candidate or a question. There's not going to be any ideal, hey, the guy has no negatives or no concerns. But Cignetti's 64. I realize he's dynamic and done a tremendous job at Indiana. I wonder, I mean, Pat Kraft went to Indiana. I mean, would he poach their coach after they finally get on a national stage in football? I would think he would be a villain for the rest of his life if he did that as a former Hoosier. So I don't know. But there's a lot of names out there. He would be one of them, Cignetti, and Matt Rule's another name who has a lot of State College, Penn State ties, grew up in State College, played for Joe, has had success. He's now at Nebraska, did well at Temple and Baylor. So, but you'll read a lot of names in the next few weeks.
Brian Hartline is another one, of course, from Ohio State. But then when's he going to be available? No one's going to. There's one thing to leave your team before they go into a bowl game. But to leave during the playoffs, I don't think that's going to happen ever.
I agree with you. I mean, to me, ideally, their candidate would be somebody who's not necessarily in a conference championship game, and probably not in the playoff. And that way, they can resign before a Citrus Bowl, and they only miss one game. Hartline. I mean, to me, this job. I know there's examples of guys. But I think you need to have been a head coach. So much of the job is about leadership and communication and media, and you're in the midst of a $700 million renovation, fundraising and whatnot. Now, maybe Brian Hartline, he's a great assistant coach, receivers coach, coordinator, and they have everything going for him. Obviously out there. Same with Stein. If that's the way you pronounce it, or Steen from Oregon. Dan Lanning was not a head coach before he landed the Oregon job. But I don't know. To me, I think you need one for this one.
Neil Rudell joining us, Nick Barczyk and Doug Saltzman. And Neil, so many changes in college football, and the Big Ten has gotten better. I think no one can argue that. Ohio State and Michigan have recently won national championships. As someone who covers the team and maybe talks to some national guys, how is Penn State viewed now? I mean, I don't think they're viewed as prominently as they were in the 80s and 90s. But stacking up with Ohio State and Michigan, how do you think Penn State stacks up with those big boy programs? And are they still one of those big boy programs right now?
Well, I mean, I would agree with you. In the 80s, they played for the national title as an independent 3 times in 5 years. They were riding a national legend at that time. But now, clearly, I mean, they have the third at best seat in the Big Ten bus. Not even that. I mean, they're behind Ohio State, clearly, Oregon. They haven't played Michigan the last couple years. Michigan is not infallible, but they have won a national championship recently under a different coach. And then Penn State is, Indiana. Indiana has passed Penn State for right now. We'll see what happens this year. They got to play. Penn State at best is third, fourth. And slipping.
Yeah, you talked earlier about Franklin's ability to manage a game, the time in the game. That the end of the first half was at the UCLA game, and what I know about coaching football wouldn't fill thimble. It's a comment I often make about a lot of things. Even the announcers on TV were saying, "I've never seen a sequence like that in 10 years of calling football games." How they went up to that end of that first half and end up giving up a field goal. I mean, that was Bush League mistakes, that you wouldn't call a timeout, that you wouldn't use that end of the first half better. It was bizarre. I don't know how else to describe it.
They have eaten so many timeouts this year. They should be bloated already. I mean, I agree with you. I thought that UCLA game was the worst game that Franklin has coached. And he's coached a lot of, he's made a lot of questionable in-game decisions, but that was the worst. Part of the problem with him is he coaches on emotion. He's a bit of a front runner. So when things are going well and he's chest bumping the players and bringing all this enthusiasm, it's usually after they're winning or good plays. And when they lose, and then when they lose the big games, he has a tendency to sulk and lose focus, and then they get beat again. Well, this was the worst example where you turn around and you've lost now to UCLA. I think his heart was torn out. They totally lost their focus. I didn't know what he was doing with those timeouts. And in fact, he was asked at halftime, and I asked him again on Monday with the follow-ups because I didn't understand it. I mean, why didn't you use your timeouts? And he says, well, we were trying to bleed the clock down so UCLA wouldn't get another possession. Well, hey, you're down 3 scores at that point.
Yeah,
I thought they should be in real urgent mode and try and hurry up because UCLA was not good defensively. And so score, then use your timeouts on defense and try to score again. But, that was lost on him. And then the Northwestern game, they were just completely gutted.
And then we'll finish up with this because I know you've got things to do tonight. And this getting in arguments with fans in the stands walking off the field over the last couple of years. I mean, we were joking yesterday. Yeah, okay, you lost a bad game. You're going to get in an argument with a sophomore. It might be a biology major who's mad at. But why would he have that sort of interaction? Is it just that emotion he couldn't control?
I agree with that with you. There was a bit of an immaturity factor with him, a thin-skinnedness. He needs to manage that on his next tour, whenever and wherever that may be. Absolutely. I mean, he did it against Ohio State at least once, I think twice, and then he got into it with somebody in the blue-white game, for God's sake. I mean, what are you doing? Yeah. And so those are the little things, the running up scores, calling timeout to freeze a kicker for Georgia State when it was like 60-0. I always said if he would have been as aggressive when they were losing as he was when they were winning, he would have been a heck of a lot better off. To be have some ingenuity when you're down at the goal line last year against Ohio State, and just his in-game management, his coordinator selections, they really have not worked out this year. So, yeah, big job. I'm sure he learned a lot. We'll see what happens, where he lands, when. But yeah, there were some definite things that were disappointing about his tenure. But again, as the way I started out, he gets credit for good recruiting, player development. You can't turn on an NFL game without seeing a bunch of guys from Penn State. So we'll see what the next guy can build on. He built up the facilities here too because they were kind of dated when he got here.
That's for sure. Having covered Penn State football for more than 40 years for the Altoona Mirror, nobody knows more about the team than our guest, Neil Rudel. Neil, thanks so much for joining us today. We really appreciate it.
Hey, thanks, Doug. Thanks, Chuck.
All righty. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Hey, I like that new name for you, Chuck.
That's
Chuck
close Steak.
Enough.
I like that.
Yeah, that's
Neil Rudel. I mean, he's a Penn State legend. I'm just some nobody on the radio station. It's all right.
That's all right. Big deal.
I like how you didn't refute that. You just went on. You could have said, no, Nick, you're not a nobody.
Anyway.
Right.
Oh, yeah, Nick, no, you're not a nobody.
We are, yeah.
Yeah, that's right. Penn State Frost Advisory tonight. We'll give you an update on that when we come back. You're listening to the Afternoon Drive Show. It's the late edition tonight. We're with you till 8 o'clock. We're going to talk political polling. Open the lines as well for talk after the 7 o'clock news. But first, this is the Afternoon Drive Show on your local station, WMBS.
Now is the perfect time to upgrade your outdoor area with a new fence from All Around Fence Company. conveniently located at 7896 National Pike, Uniontown. All Around Fence has been installing quality residential, commercial, and farm fencing for more than 45 years, offering residential fencing including chain link, decorative aluminum, steel, and more. All Around Fence has the fence for you. All Around Fence is also your one-stop shop for Nutrena products and also carries livestock, equine, and pet supplies. So if you need to upgrade an existing fence, add a new gate, or are considering the installation of an all-new fence, All Around Fence has the answers you need. Visit them Monday through Friday from 8:30 to 5 p.m. and Saturdays from 9 to 1, or give them a call at 724-439-0331. To learn more, visit allaroundfence.com.
Your heat on the fritz? Did your AC stop working? Your pipes backed up? Did your lights go out? Well, for all your heating, air conditioning, electric, and plumbing emergencies, CHIPS Residential Services is here for you. Located right in Uniontown and offering 24-hour emergency service, let the experts at CHIPS help you through all your emergency needs as well as installation and regular service. Call 724-366-8046 to get the help you need today. Your hometown team of technicians, CHIPS Residential Services.
Join the Case Foundation on November 28th at the Uniontown Country Club for a night of glamour as they celebrate a night at the Oscars with all proceeds benefiting area youth sports. Tickets for the formal adult prom are $70 for single tickets or $125 for couples. The gala will feature a live DJ, 50-50 raffle, red carpet with a professional photographer, and more. Get your tickets today by calling 724-434-9061. Don't miss this fun night and opportunity to support local youth sports.
Chris Parker Jr., October is the month for tricks or treats.
No tricks here at Autoland Hyundai. It's all treats. Everyone who purchases a new Hyundai is treated to America's best warranty. Plus, sweet deals on our selection of remaining new 25, all with amazing incentives. Plus, 0% financing is back.
I'm listening.
The deals are sweet with 0% financing for 60 months on new 2025 Tucson all-wheel drive. And there's the 25 Santa Fe third-row SUV with 1.99% financing for 60 months or up to $4,500 bonus cash.
Payments are always important. How about a lease?
For economy and fuel efficiency, lease a remaining 2025 Hyundai Elantra SE for only $199 per month. Just see us for details.
And every new Hyundai purchase includes Hyundai Assurance, America's best warranty, 10-year, 100,000-mile limited powertrain protection, and 3-year free complimentary maintenance. Autoland Hyundai, downtown Uniontown, or online at AutolandHyundai.com.
And remember, you always pay less to drive the best at Autoland Hyundai.
439-2323. For 24-hour emergency service, call us when you need. We're Fayette's Heating and Air Conditioning, your service company.
Be prepared for bone-chilling winter weather. Have Fayette Heating and Air Conditioning install a Bryant high-efficiency furnace in your home to replace that old worn-out system you now have. Choose Bryant's Plus 90 gas furnace or other quality heating system to keep yourself and your family warm and toasty this winter. Fayette Heating and Air Conditioning will also keep your present furnace running at peak efficiency with their 15-point safety check and cleaning. Call Fayette Heating and Air Conditioning today for your appointment. 724-439-2323. That's Fayette Heating and Air Conditioning, your Bryant dealer, Route 119 north of Uniontown, located near Laurel Mall.
Call Fayette Heating and Air Conditioning, 439-2323, 439-2323, 439-2323, 439-2323.
CareerLink is your one-stop resource for employment and training-related services. Visit CareerLink and you'll have access to many programs and agencies for assistance with economic, educational, and job-related needs. For more information on all the programs available to you, contact CareerLink at 724-434-JOBS. That's 724-434-JOBS.
Mountaintop Title and Notary can handle all of your motor vehicle and PennDOT needs, such as titles, plates, renewal, registrations, and all notary needs. Tina Nicholson of Mountaintop Title and Notary can also handle ATV and boat titles and also does income taxes. Hours are Monday through Friday, 9:30 to 4:30, and appointments can be made for after hours and Saturdays. Mountaintop Title and Notary with a new location at 655 Nelson Road in Farmington, the only place you need to go for all title, notary, and tax work. Call Tina at 724-984-1514 for the most professional services around.
Caring for an aging parent or a loved one with medical needs? Fact. Fayette Area Coordinated Transportation can help. Seniors 65 and older ride free on our fixed routes. People with disabilities get discounted shared rides. And if your loved one has medical assistance, their trips to doctors or treatment are covered under the shared ride program. Give them safe, reliable independence and yourself peace of mind. Call 724-628-RIDE or visit factbus.com. Fact, your community, your connection.
Tune in to WMBS Saturday mornings at 8:20 for Your Financial Future with Gary Boatman, certified financial planner, investment advisory representative, syndicated columnist, and author, as he addresses such income issues as planning for retirement, future healthcare expenses, avoiding financial pitfalls, and much more. That's Your Financial Future with Gary Boatman, Saturday mornings at 8:20 right here on WMBS, where Gary Boatman welcomes your calls at 724-243-3075. That's 724-243-3075.
Put in a simple request for new music after the breaks, and there it is.
There it is.
Nick's cranking up new music.
Living after midnight. Judas Priest, baby. Headbanging bands.
That is a headbanging band.
Let's say.
90s big hair band.
Absolutely. Oh, yeah. That looks like the 80s there. Oh, my God. Look at the hairdos on some of these women. It's a music video. Wow. What were you people thinking back then?
I get emails all the time during the show, and I read all of them. And even the ones, I like to read the ones that are critical. And I'm happy to respond. Here's one here. Did not leave a name or town. You should leave a name in town if you wish to opine. He used to say that at the end of his show all the time.
Hansberger.
No, O'Reilly.
Oh, Bill O'Reilly.
Name in town if you wish to opine. Somebody complained that I rushed Neil Rudell off the air in his comments about, well, he was in a hurry. He was available for 10 minutes, and we appreciate it. He actually wanted to go on earlier, but I had the other guests already scheduled. I couldn't change. A lot going on behind the scenes putting these things together every day. The other two people could not move their times, so we had to go with him at that time.
Now, this show doesn't just happen, people. Doug is on at morning, noon, and night to put together these award-winning programs every Tuesday and Wednesday for your listening enjoyment. Get off his back.
Yeah, thank you very much, Nick.
A little antsy. I was expecting chicken nuggets and pork. I'm a little antsy.
Yeah, there was leftover food here yesterday, and Nick and I loved it. We were told to bring in, and if you're watching Facebook Live, I brought in Tupperware to bring some more of it, and it was given to a local needy group. So,
that's great. I heard Bill Madden took it all home. I mean, he was struggling to get the two big things of tinfoil out.
But boy, it was good. That's for sure. It was actually stuff left over for we'll give them a plug.
It was delicious.
It was from the Stonehouse.
Yes, good for them.
Which has fantastic food, and you figure they're going to have good meat when they've got their own butcher shop next door. Not
Absolutely.
Meat cutters, butcher shop, not right next door.
Maybe next time they'll bring some bourbon down or something.
We were there one time after one of our shows when Rick Seaback comes on for the 4th of July every year, and we went there, and 3 different people offered to pay our bill.
Wow.
Rick is very well liked.
Yes.
Yes, he is.
Everyone loves Rick. He's Pittsburgh's crackerjack documentarian.
He takes pictures of his food, puts it on Facebook, and the restaurants get a lot more attention.
Absolutely. If Rick takes a picture of your lobster, that thing's going to skyrocket in popularity.
That's right. We should give that a head. Oh, is that inside training that we would trading that we would give away where we're going, because suddenly the business is going to do very well.
Oh, absolutely. Give them all out. Maloney's. You've been to the Summit.
Yeah, Summit in a couple.
And I'm always stuck here running the ball game while you're enjoying your dinner.
Well, that's life, Nick.
That's life. Somebody has to press the buttons.
We brought something. We were at a restaurant one time, and we were talking about pies. Rick did a show on pies one time, and a guy shows up at the restaurant with a pie.
Oh my God!
With 2 pies, one for each of us.
That's a loyal following. The power of radio. Yeah.
If you and I went out, I don't think people would bring pies.
Oh, no. They might throw something at us.
Well, that's okay.
A pie, maybe. Yeah.
Well, we're coming up on the 7 o'clock hour, the CBS World News Roundup, late edition. I did mention that we have a frost advisory. Nick, why don't you give us the latest on that and the forecast?
Well, it's still in effect, that frost advisory. Bring the plants in, bring the dogs in, and if you have your children outside for some reason, bring them in. It begins at 12 a.m. Thursday through 9 a.m. Thursday. I'm usually asleep for all those. Let's just move on. 39 degrees degrees. Again, frost advisory from 12 a.m. to 9 a.m. Thursday. Low tonight, 38. Oh, boy. I don't know about that. 63 with sun Thursday. Looks like a nice day tomorrow. Overnight low at 35, though. Warming up a bit to 66 on Friday with clouds and sun. Overnight low at 47. Summer like 78 with sun Saturday, but rain moving in. Looking likely 80% chance of rain throughout the afternoon Sunday. High at 68, low at 47, then dropping down to a high of 58 Monday. Tuesday, rain moving in, 63. And again, we are looking at a frost advisory midnight through 9 a.m. Thursday. Cloudy and 61 degrees outside of our Davis & Davis studios. It's 6:57 on this Wednesday evening. Douglas Saltzman from the weather desk over to the breaking news desk. Do we have any breaking news?
I don't think we have any breaking news, Nick. It's coming up on 5:58, but I don't think that's breaking news in our world.
And I just got an email from a text from some automated message about my mail-in ballot, which I never requested, but thank you. I'm going to vote in person next month, but thanks for the update.
I have voted in the past by mail.
Yeah.
Although the first time it came out, I got an envelope with nothing in it.
Oh.
Then I got something mailed to me to my address with someone else's name on it.
Oh, I would call the FBI.
Yeah, something's wrong there. But
you still trust mail-in voting, right?
Yeah.
Even as a Republican, your party is finally coming around on it.
Honest to heavens, I think Donald Trump would have won his first re-election.
Yes.
I mean, he only lost Pennsylvania by 40,000. The Democrats voted by mail, 10 times more than the Republicans
did. Had he embraced it, yes, he would have won.
I did not quite understand that argument back then against mail-in voting. Take advantage of it. It was during pandemic. People were scared to go out, especially senior citizens. That's the bulk of the voters.
That's very true.
Yeah, I didn't quite understand the logic behind that. But he got himself reelected.
That's right.
And he's bringing peace to the Middle East, which people have tried to do for 5,000 years.
It's been a while.
Yeah, it's
got the hostages. Yeah,
it's the hostages have been released, and now they're trying to get the release. They said many of the bodies of those who were killed were buried, and perhaps the people who buried them are now not living.
Yeah,
be a little difficult. I'm sure they're not in marked graves anywhere. But
true,
it's not a peace accord just yet. It's a ceasefire, and we'll see what comes next. Again, CBS World News Roundup, late edition comes up, plus an update on the forecast after that. When we come back, we're going to have open talk, folks. So if you want to call in during the news, you'll be the first one up at 724-438-4593. That's the WVU Medicine Uniontown Hospital talk line, 724-438-4593. We're going to open the phones after the news at the top of the hour. So what topics... There's more topics to talk about than you can imagine right now. Is the Penn State firing of James Franklin getting too much attention? We've certainly talked about it here. But first, news at 7 on your local station, WMBS Uniontown.
CIA action in Venezuela confirmed.
They have emptied their prisons into the United States of America.
Supreme Court considers Louisiana redistricting case.
It may be the end of the Voting Rights Act era.
Redefining obesity.
The increase is striking.
This is the CBS World News Roundup Late Edition. I'm Jennifer Kuiper. President Trump says he has authorized covert CIA action in Venezuela because that country...
They've allowed thousands and thousands of prisoners, mental institution, people from mental institutions, insane asylums, emptied out into the United States.
The president also points to...
We have a lot of drugs coming in from Venezuela, and a lot of the Venezuelan drugs come in through the sea, so you get to see that. But we're going to stop them by land also.
Latin America expert Steve Elner says it's not because of drugs, it's regime change, possibly stepping up a campaign against Nicolas Maduro.
It's unclear whether they're there to carry out sabotage or support for U.S. military action in Venezuela or mobilization of the popular sectors against Maduro. That's unclear.
The Supreme Court hears arguments on a Republican-led challenge in a case over Louisiana's congressional map. A ruling for the state could allow legislatures to redraw congressional maps, potentially eliminating majority Black and Latino seats that tend to favor Democrats. CBS News election law expert David Becker.
It's unusual here, the Supreme Court, where a majority of justices have already enforced the Voting Rights Act. A majority of justices currently sitting on the court, as recently as a couple of years ago, are now considering whether that act might be unconstitutional 60 years after its implementation.
Many more U.S. adults would be deemed obese under a new definition.
The research suggests the revamped definition could result in a dramatic rise in the prevalence of obesity among American adults.
This is a health problem and we need to address it.
Study author Dr. Lindsay Foreman of Mass General Brigham.
The prevalence of obesity based on the traditional BMI-based definition was about 40%, which is similar to CDC estimates in America. When you applied the new definition, the prevalence of obesity actually increased to close to 70%.
The new definition adds BMI to other figures like waist to height ratios. Matt Piper, CBS News.
President Trump says he's generally satisfied with Hamas's efforts to return deceased hostages' remains.
So we have the living hostages all back. They returned some more today. It's a gruesome process. I almost hate to talk about it. But they're digging. They're actually digging.
2 bodies were returned today, and Israel says one returned yesterday was not that of a hostage. Stocks closed mixed on Wall Street. Now this.
Think O'Reilly Auto Parts for all your car care needs. Get the parts and service you need fast from the professional parts people at O'Reilly Auto Parts.
So my mother is thinking of switching from Verizon to Pure Talk, but she's worried the deal sounds too good to be true. Michael, she said, how can those Pure Talk people offer me the same basic service as Verizon for so much less money? I said, Ma, go ask Google how much Verizon spends on advertising and promotions. A few seconds later, my mother said, oh my goodness, $12 billion a year? That must be a typo. I'll tell you what I told my mom. It's not a typo. Verizon spends $12 billion a year on advertising and promotions, and their customers are paying for it. Well, Pure Talk doesn't spend that kind of money on commercials. Trust me, I would know. That's why they can offer you and my mother unlimited talk, text, and plenty of data on a crazy fast 5G network for just $25 a month. And if you're a business owner, you could really save a fortune. Dial pound 250, say the words Mike Rowe, and you'll get an additional 50% off your first month. That's pound 250 Mike Rowe. Pure Talk. Everything you need and nothing you don't.
As the administration threatens to lay off federal workers during the government shutdown, a judge in California is blocking those actions. CBS's Jake Rosen.
The judge granted a temporary restraining order blocking the job cuts, saying she believed the evidence would ultimately show the cuts were illegal and in excess of President Trump's authority.
After several arrests by ICE agents at Chicago courthouses, the chief judge says no more. WBBN's Nancy Hardy.
ICE agents cannot make civil arrests inside Cook County courthouses or parking lots and sidewalks around them without a judicial warrant. Chief Judge Timothy Evans made the order, saying access to justice depends on the ability to appear in court without fear or obstruction. The local public defender and legal aid groups asked for the help, claiming some clients have dropped orders of protection or refused to go to court out of fear of being arrested.
Most journalists leave the Pentagon after refusing to sign Trump administration agreements on rules of access. You're listening to the CBS World News Roundup.
I remember brushing my hair and looking down and thinking, oh my gosh, do I have any hair left? I used to look at women with thick, beautiful hair and think, why doesn't my hair look like that?
My thinning hair is making me feel so old.
If you want thick, healthy, gorgeous hair, then you need Hair Volume from New Nordic. With clinically proven ingredients like apple extract, biotin, and millet, Hair Volume nourishes your hair follicles to promote thicker, healthier looking hair. Say goodbye to shedding, thin, and dull hair, and hello to thick, healthy hair with Hair Volume.
Since taking Hair Volume, the shedding has all but stopped. Now, instead of being jealous of other women's hair, I have friends who are jealous of mine.
My hairdresser couldn't believe the difference in my hair. Now she's using Hair Volume too.
Available as a tablet or delicious gummy, Hair Volume is available online at Amazon and NewNordicUSA.com, or find Hair Volume in the hair care aisle at your local CVS.
CBS News is getting an early look into upcoming holiday travel, and as CBS's Chris Van Cleve explains, it's trending up with more people booking early.
Overall, airlines have added capacity for Thanksgiving, up about 2% on average by all of the airlines. About 500,000 more seats will be available for you to fly around Thanksgiving, that Wednesday to Sunday peak travel period. And that comes despite Spirit slashing nearly 40% of its flight schedule.
A new report from the World Meteorological Organization finds carbon dioxide levels in the atmosphere jumped to record highs last year, turbocharging the climate and causing more extreme weather. WMO Senior Scientific Officer Oksana Tarasova.
Every single molecule which is emitted in the atmosphere will have a global impact.
The report finds growth rates of CO2 have tripled since the 1960s. Time on the roundup, 7 minutes past the hour.
Let me tell you about this new Pretzel Cheddar Club. Hey, I'm Carlos.
And I'm Ebony. And a little thing we love about the Chick-fil-A Pretzel Cheddar Club
is the tangy Dijon with the pretzel bun. It takes it to a whole nother level.
It goes perfectly with the chicken and the cheddar cheese and the bacon.
Man, you know how much you love bacon. And I love the different varieties. Grilled, spicy, original. It gets you nice and excited for fall.
Order the Pretzel Cheddar Club with Cherry Berry and Sprite for a limited time on the Chick-fil-A app. Real guests paid for their testimonials.
There's nothing like when you get that part from eBay and it just fits. Yeah, the first time. So you can do less of this and get right back to more of this. At eBay, you'll find all the parts you need, guaranteed to fit, at prices you'll love. Sounds good, doesn't it? eBay, things people love. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply.
3-year-old boy in Michigan is being called a hero after saving his mother's life. CBS's Michael Wallace.
Chantel Woods was cooking last week when she suffered an epileptic seizure. Her son Cody called 911 and a family friend.
I saved my mom's life.
His mom says she had taught Cody what to do if she ever had a seizure.
He saved my life. I could have been gone. He's my superhero.
Oakland County Sheriff Michael Bouchard rewarded Cody with toys, a big ice cream cake, and even a job offer.
I'm not sure that he's quite of age, but we're hiring.
Michael Wallace, CBS News.
In its final report on the 2023 hull failure and implosion of the Titan submersible, the National Transportation Safety Board says faulty engineering led to the deaths of all 5 people who died on the way to the Titanic wreckage. The report says the Titan did not meet necessary strength and durability requirements. That's the World News Roundup Late Edition for Wednesday, October 15th, 2025. I'm Jennifer Kuiper, CBS News.
The award-winning local, district, and statewide news brought to you by South Union Township Supervisor Jason Scott. Jason's not only your township supervisor, he's also your neighbor, and he's committed to serving you. On November 4th, vote Jason Scott for South Union Township Supervisor. And now the news.
Good evening, 7:09 on this Wednesday. I'm Nick Barczyk from the Davis & Davis studios. It was on me, Doug, but feel free to turn it around. That's okay. Frost advisory from 12 a.m. Thursday to 9 a.m. for the listening area. I am on Facebook Live, I believe, but Doug has done something. Now I'm off. Now I'm back on. There you go. Oh, now all's right with the world. 58 degrees. Good evening. We'll give you the weather watch and the sports in just a bit. And Doug is turning my mic off as he goes to the bathroom. State Representative Charity Grimm-Krupa from Fayette County announced this week the Pennsylvania Infrastructure Investment Authority awarded nearly $10 million in grants in low-interest loans for multiple projects in Fayette County. The first is for Pennsylvania American Water Company's replacement of around 390 lead service lines at locations approved by the Pennsylvania DEP Department of Environmental Protection. For North Union, South Union townships in the city of Uniontown, PennVest has approved a grant of $3 million, nearly $3 million, and a low-interest loan of almost $2.5 million. The second is for the borough of Masontown and their work to install exterior meter pits and also replace over 1,200 water meters at all service connections. This is expected to reduce water loss within the borough from the service connection to the customer water meters, which are right now in residents' homes. PennVest has approved a grant of nearly $1 million and a low-interest loan of nearly $4 million. There are less than 3 weeks to go until the November 4th general election, and thousands of mail-in and absentee ballots are now arriving in mailboxes throughout southwest Pennsylvania for voters to decide a range of positions from local races like school board to statewide judicial seats. The Herald Standard reports that elections officials in Fayette and Washington began sending out mail-in ballots last week, while in Greene they began mailing most of them out early this month, giving voters plenty of time, officials say, to make their selections and get their ballots back to the Bureau of Elections before Election Day on the 4th next month. 2025's general election features a variety of municipal and school board races, along with some county row offices. More next on WMBS.
You don't fix what's not broken. That's true. You don't replace what is working well. Jason Scott is doing a good job working as South Union Township Supervisor. Jason Scott utilizes his skills on a daily basis in the township office. Whether repairing storm drains, operating a plow truck, or working with his fellow supervisors on economic growth, Jason Scott is out there working for you all day, every day. Let's keep experience and integrity in the township. Keep Jason Scott, full-time South Union Township Supervisor.
Paid for by the candidate.
The Somerset County Mobile Food Bank is receiving a $15,000 grant from the First Energy Foundation to help address rising prices for food and increased demand. The funding is all part of a larger, nearly $3 million donation to hunger relief organizations around 6 northeastern states and will be used specifically for buying food. Officials say the grant is helping the mobile food bank meet the growing needs of the community in Somerset. And in sports, the Steelers getting ready for their game against the Bengals in Cincinnati tomorrow night. Aaron Rodgers against Joe Flacco. The two veteran quarterbacks will be in that matchup. Calvin Austin expected to try to give it a go at wide receiver for the Steelers. He's been banged up. Special teams captain Miles Killebrew is out for the Steelers after he suffered a knee injury in the win Sunday against the Browns. 4-1 Steelers, 2-4 Bengals in Cincinnati tomorrow night at 6:15 on WMBS. Last night, Penguins fell to the Ducks out in California. 4-3 have lost 2 in a row. Look to right the ship and win their third game of the year in Los Angeles tomorrow night against the Kings. We'll join that game at about 11 after the Steelers on WMBS. Baseball postseason tonight. It will be the American League Championship Series. Mariners, Blue Jays in Seattle. Game 3 with Seattle looking to go up 3-0. In the National League, Dodgers up 2-0 on the Brewers, and they look to go up 3-0 in Los Angeles Thursday evening. Now the weather, frost advisory from midnight through 9 a.m. Thursday. Going to be a chilly night, down below 40 at 37 tonight for the low. Sunny Thursday at 63, the low in the evening. Tomorrow down to 35, up to 65 with sun. Friday low warming up to 50. Nice summer leg day Saturday at 78. Get outside before it looks like it's going to rain throughout the day. Sunday at 70, low down to 47. Back into the 50s for the high Monday at 58, rain moving in Tuesday at 63. Clouds right now at 59 degrees. The sun is set. It is 7:13 on a Wednesday evening. And good evening from the Davis & Davis studios at WMBS. I'm Nick Barczyk. But wait, there's more. Don't leave, Doug. You have another hour. He was out the door with his Tupperware empty. Doug Saltzman next for more on WMBS.
The local, district, and statewide news was brought to you by South Union Township Supervisor Jason Scott, a proven leader with a track record of results. Jason works hard every day for his community. Jason Scott, a trusted friend, a dedicated voice.
Take the fact book.
Caring for an aging parent or a loved one with medical needs? FACT, Fayette Area Coordinated Transportation, can help. Seniors 65 and older ride free on our fixed routes. People with disabilities get discounted shared rides. And if your loved one has medical assistance, their trips to doctors or treatment are covered under the shared ride program. Give them safe, reliable independence and yourself peace of mind. Call 724-628-RIDE or visit factbus.com. FACT, your community, your connection. One of the most incredible architectural masterpieces in the United States is right here in Fayette County. And this fall is your chance to see the work being done to preserve this national treasure as work continues to fortify Frank Lloyd Wright's Falling Water, a world-famous work of architecture that's on the UNESCO World Heritage List. Falling Water invites you to Fayette County Appreciation Day on Sunday, November 23rd to see their multi-year historic preservation effort in action, in addition to the always breathtaking home itself. Falling Water is offering free tours for Fayette County residents on Sunday, November 23rd. Book your free tour of Falling Water in advance by calling 724-329-8501. Falling Water's Preservation in Action tours will take place between 9:30 a.m. and 4 p.m. Be sure to make your reservation in advance and don't miss your chance to witness this once-in-a-lifetime preservation tour of Frank Lloyd Wright's Falling Water.
Tune in to WMBS Saturday mornings at 8:20 for Your Financial Future with Gary Boatman, certified financial planner, investment advisory representative, syndicated columnist, and author, as he addresses such income issues as planning for retirement, future healthcare expenses, avoiding financial pitfalls, and much more. That's Your Financial Future with Gary Boatman, Saturday mornings at 8:20 right here on WMBS, where Gary Boatman welcomes your calls at 724-243-3075. That's 724-243-3075. Attention Medicare eligible recipients. The Medicare open enrollment period for 2026 runs from October 15th until December 7th. This is the time to call local agent Brenda Myers at 724-437-7255 and let her show you the various Medicare Advantage plans and Part D prescription drug plans and see which best fits your current healthcare needs and your budget. Brenda will also update you on the changes for 2026 and how they will affect you. With many years' experience, Brenda Myers can help you decide which plan will work best for you. Brenda Myers has been helping Medicare beneficiaries with their health care insurance for many years and represents a variety of companies to offer you more choices. This open enrollment period is your opportunity to make changes to your health care plan and save money. Call Brenda Myers today at 724-437-7255. That's 724-437-7255 for Brenda Myers.
At what point did everything change? When did service get taken out of service industries? It's too bad, because people are busy these days. At life, at work, at play. When it comes to your hard-earned money, you want service. Real service. From a person you know and a face you trust. At a bank where changing with the times doesn't mean leaving people behind. We're proud to be a part of your community. We're United Bank, at your service.
It's a late edition of the Afternoon Drive Show on your local station, WMBS Uniontown. I'm Doug Saltzman. That's Nick Barczyk with you till 8 o'clock tonight. Tomorrow will be an interesting night. We've got Steeler football up against the Browns. Let's not lose this one. This will be one of those letdown games.
Yes.
I hope they realize what's going on. And yes, they're doing well, but they're not a great team.
No.
They're a really good team at this point, I think.
Yeah, Steelers at 4-1. You beat the Browns, beat up on the Bengals. Time to sweep the Buckeye State, Doug.
Yeah, that's right.
Let's do it. And by the way, when the local TV station ends a Pirate and Penguin game back-to-back, they call it a Bucks and Pucks night. What do we call a Steelers at Penguins night?
I don't know. Yeah, Bucks and Pucks. That
Bucks
makes
and
sense.
Pucks is really good. I like that.
That's a good one. Yeah, what with the Steelers?
The Gritters. The Gritters and Pucks. I don't know.
Gridirons and the, I don't know. I'm not
Steelers
sure.
don't really have a nickname like the Pirates do.
Yeah, the Pirates.
Yeah, or the Pens even. Pens.
The Pirates is actually a nickname for the Pittsburgh Baseball Club.
Well,
technically. And then you have
the Penguins are the Pens.
They were
Pirates
called
the Bucks.
They were called the Buccaneers.
That's right.
And the Bucks is short for Buccaneers.
And the Steelers were the Pirates back in the day.
Yeah, they were the Pirates.
Amazingly.
What were they before the Pirates?
Oh boy. That's Exposition Park era, right? Before Forbes Field.
Yeah, I'm not sure if the Steelers ever played at Exhibition. No, Exhibition Park went away in 1909.
Yeah, there wasn't even football then,
wasn't
really.
Football then. They were called the Alleghenies.
Oh, that's right, Alleghenies after the county. Yeah.
Or is that the Pirates that were the Alleghenies? It doesn't matter.
Let's get in the story.
Let's talk about old time, and who remembers old time baseball? You know, the NFL did not really come to prominence until the 60s.
Oh. Well, Joe Namath is really responsible.
Right.
Super Bowl III, which was not
college
even
football was much bigger than
huge
than the NFL, and of course the merger did not occur in the NFL and professional football until the 60s. The first three what were then called championship games were between the AFL, the American Football League, and the NFL. The first three, then they renamed them the Super Bowls just to keep that going.
And that was named after the Super Bowl, the old toy, because Lamar Hunt had a daughter who played with the Super Bowl. And he said, how about Super Bowl? And allegedly they all laughed at him and said, that'll never stick.
Oh.
He said, let's try it. And now 60 years later.
And you cannot use that name for anything. It is trademarked within an inch of its life.
Super Bowl is absolutely
right,
biggest event in American sports by far.
Because you'll hear. I think is it bigger than the World Cup of soccer?
Well, yeah, it's I guess soccer's the bigger game globally, and it's a 3-hour game once a year. The World Cup is once every 4 years for weeks, like the Olympics. I'd say the Olympics are still the biggest global sporting event.
Oh, by far, I would think it is.
That's the whole point of them. But for a one-day American event, the Super Bowl's king. Used to be the World Series.
Yeah.
The NBA Finals is probably even bigger than the World Series now, Stanley Cup.
You think
in
so?
Canada.
It's interesting. The ratings for NBA, and by the way, if you want to call in, folks, we're talking sports right now. Your memories of sports back in the era. I love reading stories about Fayette County, the old racetracks that were here.
Oh, yes. Old Fayette County sports,
They would shut down the summit, and they would race cars up and down the summit.
That's right. Those were the days.
Including a guy named Louis Chevrolet, who, yes, is that Chevrolet.
Was Henry Ford there as well?
I don't
No.
think Henry Ford was there. It's the WVU Medicine Uniontown Hospital Talk Line, 724-438-4593. Talking old-time sports, old-time arenas. As you know, we've had on our show Bill Hughes, who's been at every stadium there is in America for baseball,
Yes.
including, 7 or 8 that aren't around anymore.
Yes,
In
and then he
fact,
goes to minor league stadiums.
This year, he went to go see the Oakland. I guess this year they're just called the Athletics.
They're the A's, yes. I think for one more year, and then they're expected to go to Vegas in 27, which everyone's saying there won't be a season. Let's hope
if
there
it
is.
is 27, they're building. It's not like they just started building that stadium. So they played in Sacramento.
I think it's right on the Strip. It's going to be right in the heart of Vegas.
A minor league facility that only held almost exactly how many Oakland had been getting per game over the years.
Some teams struggle with attendance, and the Pirates do, but at least you have that beautiful ballpark and years of history. I guess the A's have been around a while as well, but some of these expansion teams, the Rays down in Tampa, wow, they struggle. St. Petersburg.
and Miami.
Oh,
yeah, they're not.
And they've won some World Series.
Yeah. Oakland, are they? I feel so stupid asking this question. Are they the Athletics or just the A's?
But I think formerly the A's. Used to be, even back in the day when they were the Athletics, everyone shortened
and they were in Philadelphia. It was the Philadelphia
Before the
Athletics.
Phillies, yeah.
So
Connie Mack was the manager.
I see.
Wore a top hat in the dugout. Boy, those were the days, huh? The baseball manager wearing a top hat.
That is one of the great traditions of baseball, that the managers and the coaches all wear the uniform.
They do, yes.
It would look so strange to look into the dugout and see a manager in a suit and tie.
It would.
Yeah. Although the managers getting a lot more casual now. They're wearing sweatshirts.
Oh, they
you
are.
see that.
Another great George Carlin bit, the baseball football. He said, baseball, the manager, since he goes on the field, wears the uniform of the players, down to the cleats. And he said, could you imagine Bill Parcells in a football uniform with a helmet on the sideline? This is back when he was coaching.
So if you want to join us, 724-438-4593. It's open talk till about 7:30 tonight. Then, and then at the bottom of the hour, or actually at 7:40 p.m., we're going to talk to Professor Burwood Yost from Franklin Marshall College about the latest. His polling is always rather fascinating. Surprises us sometimes what folks think. What's happening out there in the world of politics. We're going to check in with a good professor coming up at 7:40. We're with you till 8 o'clock tonight. Coming up on 7:24 p.m. right now on the Afternoon Drive Show, the late edition. We'll get an update, too, coming up towards the end of this hour from Radio PA. But, if you want to join us, feel free to call the WVU Medicine Uniontown Hospital Talk Line. Frank's joining us right now on the line. How are you doing, Frank? What's on your mind?
Oh, I'm clinging to life. I'm thinking of adopting the tree sloth as my spirit animal, but
okay, the tree sloth. I'm not aware of that. And it sounded like I asked how you doing.
I'm clinging to
I
life.
thought you say you're cleaning your wife. I'm like, well, that's another matter entirely. But I don't think that's what you said.
No,
it's a family show.
Yeah, it's a family show. We don't want to hear details about that.
The AI hasn't gone that far yet.
No, they haven't. So, what's on your mind besides the tree sloth idea?
Well, you ask about the races up the summit and the history of Uniontown. They did that until 1915, until there was, and the AAA sponsored it, believe it or not, but those races entailed blocking off the summit, so they quit doing that. There was too much traffic. But down where the Atlas Crossroads is, there was a large board track.
Right, it was wooden.
And the Chevrolet brothers raced there, as did Henry Ford, and all the other great racers of the day, except there's no record of Eddie Rickenbacker ever racing there. Yeah. But Ford at one time had the world land speed record, as did Rickenbacker.
Right, as the driver, not just the Ford vehicle. He was the driver.
Right.
Yeah.
And Barney Oldfield famously raced there. Yeah. But it was a board track, and it rotted out prior to World War I, and there was a shortage of materials during World War I, so it wasn't rebuilt, and it became a dirt track again in the 40s, and the Bryson family here in Uniontown ran those races.
Now, where was that? Give us an idea of where it was located, like a current landmark about where that track was.
Well, Atlas Crossroads is where the board track was. That's on the Uniontown side of of Hopwood, where that large flat area is on the North Union side.
Okay.
Yeah, that was the Atlas Crossroads, and that's where the board track and the dirt track was. You see, Fayette County and the mountains, the last ridge in the Allegheny Mountains is Chestnut Ridge, which ends in Hopwood. And the country is flat, really, to the Ozarks. So all of Detroit used to bring their cars to test on the mountain. And that was the reason for the hill climb race. If you had a good car, you could get to the top of the mountain without overheating. Now, there's still a spring on the side of the mountain, which, believe it or not, in the 1820s was christened by President Monroe, who was traveling through this area. He had a picnic there and dumped some wine in the spring and named it Monroe Spring. And for a time, part of Hopwood was known as Monroe.
Yeah. If you're wondering why our guest knows so much, this is Frank LaCava, local historian. Nobody knows more about the area than Frank does. And we appreciate you calling in. Yeah, I mean, that watering hole there, of course, was there because frequently cars would have to stop and refill the radiator to make it to the top of the summit.
Or the radiator.
Radiator.
Radiator's fine.
Radiator.
It's more of a Yinzer way of saying it.
I agree.
Yeah, if you had a good car, it could climb the hill without overheating. But see, that was the first really steep hill from Detroit all the way east. And that's why it was so well known. And that's where they tested cars for years. Hence the hill climb race and then later the Hopwood Speedway.
Yeah, it's funny. When you take a look at that's a little picnic area now, of course, that you can stop and have lunch. And I've had lunch or dinner there at that little picnic shelter. It doesn't look big enough. That area doesn't look big enough to hold what it used to have a restaurant and a dance hall. It just doesn't look like there's enough room there for that. Obviously, there was. But yeah, when you look at it now, and of course it's all lit up at nighttime, it just doesn't seem like, how did all that fit in there when you see the old photos of what was actually there? And sadly, it burned down.
Well, it burned, in the late 1990s. The family that owned the Summit owned it. And the restaurant burned. It had lost a lot of patronage because of the Jersey barrier.
Right.
But that had always been a commercial property from the 1800s on, I think 3 times. And there are old postcards of what was there in prior times. But that was known as Monroe Springs. And I have, believe it or not, an original copy from the 1820s of President Monroe's journey through America.
Wow.
And he talks about that.
That's awesome.
Yeah, that's good. We need to have you on when we have a lot more time to talk to you. That's for sure. And
I'll leave my number with Nick.
Yeah, we'll take you off the air. Don't worry. We won't have you give your number over the air. And
unless you want to. I mean.
Yeah, we'll have we'll give that. We'll have you back on. I do want to talk. I love history. I guess
same.
I fall into the category of history buff. I don't know what you have to be a buff.
I've always wanted to be a Civil War buff.
I wanted to be a history buff.
Well, it's the same qualifications as being a duffer in golf.
Well, I'm overqualified as a duffer.
You're a duffer. If you call yourself a buff, you're a buff.
That's how I always say. I get my money's worth out of a golf course. I see every inch of it. Parts of golf courses people don't even know is there. I've seen it.
You've seen it.
Are you a duffer?
Yeah, I'm off.
Oh, well then, now you know how to become a history buff.
I'm 62. I've only been playing the game for 50 years. I started when I was 12.
It's the next 50. You'll get good at the next 50.
One of my great all-time rounds, I had a chance by fluke to play with Arnold Palmer. I'd been playing for about 25 years at that point, and I was such a nervous wreck. It was a horrible game, and he finally said to me, "Don't let it bother you, young man. Golf is tough on beginners." I didn't have the guts to tell him I'd been playing for a quarter century, but
Arnie, God love him.
I'm definitely a duffer, that's for sure. Again, joining us on the WVU Medicine Uniontown Hospital Talk Line, local historian Frank LaCava. We guarantee we're going to have you back on for a long segment at some point, and we'll go through all types of topics and even take some calls if you'd be willing to do that. People always want to learn.
Sure.
History. Hey, thanks so much, Frank. I enjoyed this conversation very much. I'm glad you called into the show.
Yes, good talking to you. I'm happy for your question.
Yeah, all right.
You're the
will
man,
talk to you
Frank.
soon.
Thanks, buddy.
All right, thank you. In fact, we got to have him
Bye-bye.
on next week. We'll work on
Absolutely.
that.
We'll have him
Frank on next week. Right now, we're going to take a break. We come back. Nick and I will chat it up for a moment. Then Professor Burwood Yost is going to talk to us about the October poll by Franklin and Marshall College. But first, this is the late edition of the Afternoon Drive Show.
Hard work, respecting others, and being a good team member are values that South Union Township Supervisor Jason Scott knows well. Whether he's running a machine, repairing storm drains, operating a plow truck, or working with his fellow supervisors on economic growth, Jason Scott is working every day to keep residents safe, maintain the strength of our local businesses, and enhance the quality of life in South Union Township. Best wishes for a great season from Jason Scott, who would appreciate your vote for Township Supervisor.
Paid for by the candidate.
Zen's Antiques and Home Decor, part of the Cinder Shack family of vendors, where you can find both antique and new furniture, collectibles, housewares, gift items, including jewelry and candles, and so much more. Follow Zen's Antiques and Home Decor on Facebook for new items and information on upcoming events. Zen's Antiques and Home Decor in Building 2 at 3391 National Pike in Farmington. Zen's Antiques and Home Decor.
Say hello to fall. Your flair, your way. Strat, 34 South Street in downtown Uniontown, located in the State Farm Building rear. We're known for our distinguished Western, Southwest, and boho accessories, including custom and concealed carry handbags, but we offer a large variety of fashionable styles. And just refreshed for fall, we have an amazing selection of spiny oyster, turquoise, nickel silver, copper, and gemstone fun fashion jewelry. And we're so excited to bring you affordable indulgence. 24% lead crystals wrapped in tarnish-free silver and gold wire for enhanced clarity, brilliance, and sparkle. These bracelets, pendants, earrings, and bands are stunning and show-stopping, to say the least. Strat, 34 South Street in downtown Uniontown, 724-557-6184. Open Tuesday through Friday, 11 to 5. Not high-end, just nice-end. Strap, you're sure to adore us, and you'll love our prices.
At what point did everything change? When did service get taken out of service industries? It's too bad, because people are busy these days. At life, at work, at play. When it comes to your hard-earned money, you want service. Real service. From a person you know and a face you trust. At a bank where changing with the times doesn't mean leaving people behind. We're proud to be a part of your community. We're United Bank, at your service.
Concerned about your heart health? At WVU Medicine, we believe your heart deserves world-class care, close to home and always within reach. Our non-invasive cardiology team uses advanced tests like stress tests and cardiac MRI to diagnose and monitor heart conditions without surgery. Call 877-WVU, the number 4HRT, or visit wvumedicine.org/heart.
Route 21 Furniture, take the road to your perfect home.
Sleep well tonight. Try out a new mattress from Route 21 Furniture with a large selection of mattresses, all sizes and comfort levels, with great prices, free local delivery and setup, and financing options. Route 21 Furniture. Open weekdays 9 to 5, Saturday 10 to 5, Sunday noon to 4. 724-737-2222 or Route21Furniture.com.
Route 21 Furniture, take the road to your perfect home.
Now, you don't have to travel too far for medical marijuana products. Go to Local Leaf in Scottdale for a wide variety of locally grown and locally sourced products, plus your questions answered on medical marijuana, qualifying medical conditions, or how to register for your medical card. Local Leaf by PHG off Route 119 in Scottdale, 412-417-4964. Online at localleafpa.com. Local Leaf, your medical marijuana dispensary with locally grown and locally sourced products in Scottdale.
When you are looking to make some extra cash for your aluminum cans, visit Cherokee Recycling, where aluminum can is king. Cherokee Recycling is open Monday through Friday 9 to 4:30 and Saturdays 8 to 12 noon, closed Sundays and holidays. Give Marcus or Braggs a call today, 724-439-3228 for Cherokee Recycling, where recycling makes the most sense.
Stop by and check out the 1908 restaurant and bar at the Uniontown Country Club. And while you're at it, also check out your favorite item from Chef Steven's new menu.
And starting on October 6th, there will be new fall hours for the restaurant. It will be Thursday from 4 to 9 p.m., Friday and Saturday noon to 9 p.m., and the restaurant will be closed Sunday through Wednesday. If you want to join the team at the Uniontown Country Club, I got some good news for you. They're still hiring, and you can submit your application 3 different ways. Call 724-550-4258, extension 4. You can email Caitlin at uniontowncountryclub.com, or you can stop by 25 Bailey Lane in Uniontown to pick up an application. Hey, there's still time to get some golf in before the weather turns cold, so stop in and get some rounds in while enjoying the beautiful autumn scenery on the foothills of the Laurel Mountains. Call 724-550-4258 for golf or restaurant information. The Uniontown Country Club hopes to see you soon.
Now, this is a song you would hear on America's Best Music, perhaps.
It's soft rock.
That's right.
People who jog with their dogs,
Now,
sort their mail, and listen to Steely Dan.
What's the difference between soft rock? A new term has come out. Did I miss this? Yacht rock?
Yes, yacht rock. I'm not sure if it's new, but people have popularized it, and Steely Dan is certainly leading that category.
What is it?
Well, just soft rock, I guess. I guess because when people go on yacht vacations, rich people, PC era, but let's be honest, rich white people like Steely Dan. They like Seals and
and so they're on a yacht. So it's yacht rock. There was a band in the state a while back called themselves. They were a yacht rock band.
Yeah, yacht rock. Yeah, Seals and Crofts and
yacht rock.
Steely Dan. Yeah.
Okay. Well, I guess what do you call? Who was the group I never liked?
Styx? No.
Yeah. Well, no, not Styx. 2 guys.
Hall & Oates.
Hall & Oates.
Pennsylvania's own.
Yeah. Would that be yacht rock?
I guess it would be. You're making my dreams come true,
Yeah.
Doug.
Where did this term come from? Always things show up. And I send out a photo every day to our family, and including my ex-wife is in this thread, and she had some outfit on from years ago. And my one daughter said, "Hey, Mom, that fit is fire." I'm like, what does that mean? I had never heard that term.
I guess your generation was hot.
I guess an outfit is looks good.
Yes.
Fit, short for outfit. I did not what that fit is fire. So I'm watching one of my new favorite shows now, if you've seen it yet, Changing Gears with Tim Allen.
Tim Allen loves his paychecks now.
And he's wearing this outfit, and the girls are all criticizing it. Then his grandson says, "Hey, Dad, that Pops," he called Pops, "that fit is fire." I'm like, "Hey, I know what that means now. I'm hip."
There you go. You text your daughters.
I did. I said, "Hey," in fact, I went back, replayed it, and sent her a video saying, "See, I know what's going on now."
There you go.
It took me a while to figure out what slay means.
Well, yeah, you need a dictionary, a teenage slang to old dad dictionary translator.
I suppose, yeah. The other day, my daughter said something, "Oh, that's sick, Dad." I'm like, well, in my day, that meant that was good. Does it still mean it's good? She said, yes, that's your era. When something is sick, it's good. Although if you are sick, it's bad. That's true. It's like that comedian, what the heck is his name? He's from Norway or somewhere, I don't know. And he talks about how hard it was to learn the English language because of the various things, simple words like ass mean. It can mean good things, it can mean bad things, it can mean nothing, the whole thing. But here's somebody who actually means something, and it's good for us to have a guest because it gets Nick and I away from the absolute nonsense drivel.
Yes, drivel.
Because it really is a show about nothing until we have a guest on the show.
And unlike Seinfeld, we're not wealthy and famous.
Yeah, we're not bringing in billions of dollars for NBC. Yeah, that's right. And considering we're a CBS affiliate, we probably shouldn't do that. Joining us right now on the WVU Medicine Uniontown Hospital Talk Line from Franklin Marshall College, in fact, director of the Franklin Marshall College poll, Professor Burwood Yost. Professor, thanks for joining us. We haven't talked to you in a bit. How are you?
I'm doing great, Doug. How are you?
Good. You recently released your October poll, and what I enjoy about it, and we interview other pollsters as well, about the variety of topics. It's not always straight down the line, are you voting for this person or that person? It's always, I think, rather unique, and you really go into the details of it. I'm one of those geeks that goes not just on the front page, but I look at page 42 of a poll to get a sense of demographics and breakdowns. But why don't you take a moment? We always say that you're in an elevator with somebody, you've got about 35 seconds to give a talk. So let's start that way and tell us what you learned from the October poll.
35 seconds. That's not much.
I'm kidding. No, we're going to be on. We're going to be with you longer than 35 seconds. Don't panic. Yeah.
So, no, look.
You take all the time you need.
Yeah, as you said, I mean, we're not just asking about one thing, right? So we've covered a lot of ground in this poll. So, we've asked about the normal questions that give us a sense of the public's mood. And that mood is generally not all that positive, with a particular concern about the way our government and politics is working. And so I think that's an area worth talking about. There's, of course, we looked at what's going on with the state Supreme Court retention races, and those are functioning or running differently than they normally do. We also then talked about some issues related to both artificial intelligence and how people are feeling about it, and of course, how people feel about the president, the governor, and sort of the way they feel about democracy. So we've covered a lot of ground, all of it interesting, I think. And, we could go through any of those issues that you wanted to. I think the one that's probably most top of mind and most current is probably the one having to do with the Supreme Court retention elections. These elections are normally sleepy affairs with low turnout. Typically, judges are retained by a margin on average of greater than 20%. Many people don't even know they're happening, and that's not true this year. These races are very different than they normally are, and I think that's probably the top line coming out of this poll is around those retention races.
Yeah, we've talked to guests about this, and for those who may not understand it, heck, you could vote regularly and not fully understand it. Supreme Court justices in Pennsylvania and Superior Court judges, that's the next step down, then Commonwealth below that, and even local court, county judges are elected to 10-year terms, and you run as you would run any other race. And then 10 years later, you're not up for re-election, but for retention. So it's either up or down, yes or no. And it's only literally happened a handful of times in Pennsylvania that a judge at the state level has not been retained. And the last one was simply as a result of the pay raise that the General Assembly voted themselves in the middle of the night. There happened to be a judge up the very next year. He got a pay raise because of that, and he got voted out of office, out of his seat because of it. Literally had nothing to do with it.
Yes, that's right.
And even some of the judges tried to turn down the pay raise and were determined, no, you have to take the pay raise. You have no choice. And he lost his seat on the Supreme Court as a result of that. But this time around, as you mentioned, there is an absolute established effort by Republicans, because all the three judges, the justices who are up for re-election, all ran the same time 10 years ago, which was unheard of to have three up at the same time. And so there is a strong effort, and I don't think I've ever seen yard signs before saying vote no on retention, vote yes on retention. I've never seen yard signs before, and I've seen lots of them this time around.
Well, and the governor cutting an ad supporting the retention of these candidates. That's something we haven't seen, and we haven't seen the level of spending. I mean, my mailbox is full of vote yes, vote no flyers from both sides. I get text messages, phone calls, and I think that has done a couple of things. One, it's certainly raised interest. I think we're going to have more than a third of registered voters show up, which is what normally shows up in these kinds of races. Secondly, though, it has made these choices very partisan. In our poll, you could see Republicans are kind of leaning no and Democrats are leaning yes. But there's still a lot of undecided voters, too. And I think part of the large number of undecideds has to do with the fact that people aren't sure because, the retention question itself does not include party. It basically just says, hey, are you going to, should this person be retained as a justice to the Pennsylvania State Supreme Court? It doesn't even include the length of time that it's 10 years. And so what we're seeing now is what I think we've seen through, across all levels of politics, and that is it's just, the polarization and the partisanship is paramount, and all this spending has changed the nature of this race from something that tended to be sort of, neutral to something that is partisan.
Yeah, it's what's interesting too. The term unprecedented is overused. We were talking to somebody the other day about this, but in this case, it is unprecedented that you have 3 of these judges, Supreme Court justices from Pennsylvania, and these are the state Supreme Court, not the federal, which are appointed for life, but Justices Christine Donahue, Kevin Dougherty, and Kevin Wecht, all in the same commercial, including Christine Dougherty, the justice, looking into the camera and say, "We have preserved abortion rights," which is stunning to hear a judge say that.
Right.
She's not saying that we are going to preserve abortion rights. She says we have kept abortion rights. Because you can say what you've done, you can't say how you're going to rule in the future. That would be a violation of the ethics rules of judge races. And what's also interesting about this, too, and I'm guessing your poll didn't address this because he wouldn't be able to, Christine Donahue can only serve for 2 years. And if she wins retention, it's for 10 years, but she hits a mandatory retirement age. And one would question, why can you even run for a term you can't finish? It'd be like a president who comes into office and would run for re-election more than he can serve following at the resignation of a president. And then so I can only serve for 2 of those years. That seems strange that you can be retained for 20% of the term you're being retained for. That seems very odd.
It is interesting. It is. But there's a lot to cover in the poll. I don't want to spend too much time on this, but I think I was having a conversation with a colleague today, and we were talking about what are the implications if all 3 of these judges were to lose, and what it would, given the way things are, the governor would appoint replacements, except they'd have to be confirmed by the Republican state Senate, who would not confirm them. And so in all likelihood, we would have a 4-person Supreme Court in this state, 2 Republicans and 2 Democrats, until 2027, the next election, where we could vote on these guys. And so, you could envision nothing getting done, no decisions being made at that level, everything ending in a tie. I mean, it could truly be a pretty significant, have pretty significant implications for state policy for things that go to the state Supreme Court for decisions.
Right, and that's why there's an odd number. The idea is so you don't have ties.
And then that takes us to the other thing that we're seeing in this poll, and that is when we ask people what's the biggest problem facing the state, they're telling us it's government and politics. That was the most common response, and that is in part because we haven't had a state budget going on now over 100 days, right? And so people are dissatisfied with the way our government is or isn't, perhaps is more accurate to say, operating. And it's really top of mind for many voters, even though people are still upset about their own personal financial circumstances, which they don't think are getting any better. So one of the things this poll did was it looked at the mood of the state's voters, and, the mood is not positive. The people are still pretty negative about the way things are going in this state, about how our politicians are performing, and about their personal finances, which is often a problem for the party in power.
Yeah, it's these off-year elections, the odd-year elections, we'll call them, rarely get attention, especially the ones after a presidential race. The turnout's almost always very, very low. So if nothing else, this will bring more people out to the polls, that's for sure. And, of course, you have it's local elections, which affect your life at times even more, much more, than, of course, even the national elections at times. I remember years ago, I was doing a high school term paper on the Constitutional Convention in the late 60s, which, of course, created the elected office of State Attorney General. It was appointed before that. And I remember talking to a friend of mine whose father was on that committee, who created, in fact, he was the one who even proposed the Commonwealth Court, and he later became a judge on that court, Judge Francis Berry. And I asked him this thing about, why was it picked to have the that the Attorney General, the Auditor General, and the State Treasurer all run the same time as the President. And he said, in hindsight, we shouldn't have had that. We should have had him in an odd-numbered year because it would have brought out more voters. I'm not quite sure how I was smart enough to come up with that question in high school, but maybe somebody gave to me the question to ask. Who knows? It's been a long time. But that is one thing I think most people agree that perhaps that would have been better if those state row offices weren't running at the same time as the presidential races, because they simply get lost in the shuffle.
That's for sure. That's for sure. But what's the remedy? I mean, maybe it would make more people pay attention if you had them in a different election. But we know, these Supreme Court elections, these odd year elections, they have very low turnout, as you said, and it's not because these jobs are as important as electing those other office holders, and so I'm happy to see that there's money being spent to raise awareness of the state Supreme Court. I of course wish the conversations were a bit more nuanced. And of course they're not at the highest levels, but if it encourages people to pay attention and to learn a little bit more and to turn out and vote, I'm all for it.
Yeah, absolutely. We are talking with Professor Burwood Yost. He's got several titles, and they're all worth mentioning. Director of the Franklin College Poll. He is also director of the Floyd Institute Center for Opinion Research and also for Public Policy Analysis, and also a senior adjunct professor and instructor of government at Franklin and Marshall College. Check out the website. Google Franklin Marshall Poll. And that's another thing. Folks can sign up and get regular updates regarding the poll.
They can. And they can. If they go to fndmpoll.org, you can sign up, and whenever we release some poll or some analysis of state politics, it'll show up in your mailbox.
Yeah. Very interesting. So many interesting, some folks might call them glitches in elections in Pennsylvania. When you're running in the primary, it mentions your county if you're running statewide. When you're running in the general, it doesn't. A lot of people think over the years that's why there's been a lot more, at times, a lot more Supreme Court justices elected from the Pittsburgh area. Because if you're running from Philadelphia, Pittsburgh folks know that's a Phillies fan, maybe, or an Eagles fan, or a Flyers fan. But not everybody might not know that Pittsburgh's the county seat of Allegheny County across Pennsylvania. In fact, many might think it's up in the Allegheny National Forest. So that's always rather interesting, those primaries, and how Pittsburgh, even though it's a much smaller population than Philadelphia, has done very well in statewide elections over the years, in the primaries, that is.
That's for sure.
Just for those, it's an interesting process of how this works in Pennsylvania. Last question for you, Professor, before you go. In terms of the information gained from this, are people paying more attention based on your polling? Was there able to this off-year election? Do you think more people have an understanding compared to previous years, or are the undecideds about even to previous years?
No, the undecideds are actually a bit higher, and I think part of the reasons they're a bit higher is because of all the spending, and I think that some of that spending and some of the messaging has created confusion. And remember, we took this, it was more than a month before Election Day, so, people weren't as perhaps focused as they will be. But one thing that was clear is when we asked people about their interest and their intention of voting, it's higher than it normally is for these elections. And so not as high as, of course, you would get in a midterm or a presidential, but still higher than you would normally get. So I think the spending is raising awareness and interest in the campaign. But I think as we said in our poll release, it's not clear yet how this is going to go, just because so many voters are still trying to make up their minds. Even people who normally vote in these kinds of elections are telling us they're not sure yet.
Professor Burwood Yost, Franklin Marshall College, thanks so much for joining us. We appreciate it, as always.
Yeah, always good to talk to you, Doug. Thank you.
Thank you. We're going to take a break here, folks. When we come back, we're going to wrap up the show for today. But first, this is the afternoon show, late edition, on WMBS Uniontown.
439-2323. For 24-hour emergency service, call us when you need. We're Fayette's Heating and Air Conditioning, your service company.
Be prepared for bone-chilling winter weather. Have Fayette Heating and Air Conditioning install a Bryant high-efficiency furnace in your home to replace that old worn-out system you now have. Choose Bryant's Plus 90 gas furnace or other quality heating system to keep yourself and your family warm and toasty this winter. Fayette Heating and Air Conditioning will also keep your present furnace running at peak efficiency with their 15-point safety check and cleaning. Call Fayette Heating and Air Conditioning today for your appointment. 724-439-2323. That's Fayette Heating and Air Conditioning, your Bryant dealer, Route 119 north of Uniontown, located near Laurel Mall.
Call Fayette Heating and Air Conditioning, 439-2323, 439-2323, 439-2323, 439-2323.
Hello, Uniontown and Fayette County. This is attorney Erica Dowd of Quattrini Law Group. Are you a veteran suffering from a service-related disability or disease? Not all injuries are obvious or happen quickly. We've helped hundreds of veterans with conditions like PTSD, neuropathy, heart conditions, and cancers get the benefits they deserve, even when their conditions didn't start until many years after service. VA benefits can be paid for any condition that could have been caused or worsened by your service, from Agent Orange exposure, Camp Lejeune water exposure, burn pits, or physical injuries in the service. If you were disabled from your military service, we can help you. The consultation is free and no obligation. Call us today at 1-888-534-6016 or Google Quattrini Law Group. Again, this is attorney Erica Dowd from Quattrini Law Group, reaching out to veterans like...
Are you looking for personalized health care you can trust? At Montgomery Medical, they're accepting new patients.
Hi, I'm Dr. Betty Thomas. Having a primary care provider means better overall health, from preventative care to managing chronic conditions. We're here to support you.